Welcome to the 2025 Forbes Creator Upfronts in partnership with Walmart Creator. We look forward to spending today and tomorrow with you for an engaging program connecting today's most innovative creators with the biggest brands in the world. Be sure to follow along on social media by using the official hashtags, hashtag Forbes Creator Upfronts and hashtag Walmart Creator. Before we begin, a special thank you to our title sponsor, Walmart Creator, and our supporting sponsor, Whaler Group. As a reminder, use the Bizibo app to view the agenda, sign up for breakout sessions, and take advantage of our new matchmaking feature to maximize your network experience. When scheduling one-to-one meetings with other attendees via the app, we strongly recommend booking those outside of stage content times. Now, to kick off the program, please welcome Stephen Bertoni, Assistant Managing Editor, Founders, Forbes.
Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. How's everyone doing? Oh, sometimes I say do it again, but that was really good. I appreciate it. My name is Stephen Bertoni. I'm an editor at Forbes. I'm also the creator of the Forbes Top Creator franchise, which I thought was kind of a cute title, so I'm going to stick with that. I get the question a lot with Forbes, why creators? And the first thing is our mission at Forbes is to celebrate success. We're here to spotlight the leaders and the entrepreneurs that are driving the economy, business, and society. And whether you call people creators, whether you call them influencers, podcasters, vloggers, who knows, there's many names, everyone in the creator space is an entrepreneur to the core. These creators are entrepreneurs who are driving and changing media, marketing, advertising, entertainment, taste, style, you name it. And Forbes is privileged and excited to be along for this journey to chronicle all the amazing things that the creator economy is building and doing. Our Forbes top creator list last June came out. Just 50 people, that group earned almost $850 million and had 3.4 billion followers. Just the 50, which is absolutely incredible. Today, the next few days, we have 400 amazing creators and marketers. We're going to have days full of learning, earning, and growing. And when I say growing, I mean bringing brands together and creators together and making a ton of money. So that's the point. Who here wants to make some money this week? All right. Who wants to give away some money this week? That's another question. So this next day and a half, we have amazing programming, amazing networking. We want these conversations to be real and raw, tactical and practical. We don't want fluff. We don't want jargon. So this year, we brought in a new feature. Who here knows what this is? This is an air horn, which I bought at Walmart, by the way. They really have everything. And it was a great value, a great price. Now, it looks like it's a normal air horn, but this is 2025, and this air horn has been equipped with AI machine learning and special sound sensors. And we want freedom of speech, but if you say one word, it will trigger the air horn. We can't control it. And I'm not turned it on yet, so that word is authenticity. If someone says authentic or authenticity in describing their success, it's out of my control. The air horn will go off. And let me just switch it on here. So we're going to test it out. Authoritative. Okay. Author. Authentic. Oh, geez. So you can say the word if you want, but that's going to happen. But I want everyone just to know that we're going to have an incredible 2 days. These are gonna be the most influential 2 days in the creator economy, and I couldn't be more excited to kick it off. And I wanna thank everyone in advance for just 2 amazing days of networking, learning, earning, and growing. Thank you so much.
For our first conversation, Creator-Led Media Networks, please welcome to the stage, moderator Randall Lane, Chief Content Officer, Forbes, and panelists, Grace Cow, CMO Snap, Jesse Jesser Rydell, founder Bucket Squad, and Rebecca Zamalo, actress, producer, and creator.
I like how Jesse's playing for to the LA crowd here. So
yes, I'm going to the game right after this.
Go Dodgers.
It's funny because this is a cool panel to start with because I'm going to let everyone in a secret. I know the first ever creator-led media network. It was founded 108 years ago because BC Forbes, the founder of Forbes, was a newspaper columnist. And he said he was a creator of his time. I'm creating words on a printed piece of paper. That was his version of a TikTok story. And he said, why am I doing this and making other people rich when I can actually create, not just own my own IP, but I can actually create a media network around my name. So BC Forbes became Forbes. Forbes became a media network on many panels. So Forbes really is a creator-led media network. We have two, Grace, who runs a star CMO with 850 million followers on Snap. And then we have 2 BC Forbeses of the 21st century. So let's talk about how everybody can go to that next level. Maybe we'll start start with Rebecca. We had dinner last night. We were talking about a lot of you're more, again, you started as a creator and now you basically run a company. Tell us about that journey and how you decided that I'm doing really well making content. My husband and I were doing well. How are we now going to start having other people create content, multi-channel, multi-platform, multi-product? Tell us about your journey to that place.
Well, I think, raise your hand if you're a creator in this room. Okay, so we have a lot of creators. When you start creating, you don't really know what you're doing. It's a lot of trial and error, and you're a one-man show. Or a one-woman show, I should say. So, I was doing everything from filming it, editing it. I'm a terrible editor, posting everything and just learning as much as I could.
Pray and pray.
Well, yeah.
Pray and pray.
Exactly, and just studying. And I think over time, as you become bigger and you grow, you realize that you can't take all of that on. And so you really have to transition from just being a creator to also running a team, which is very different. And I think for me now, we have 7 channels. 3 are consistently active. We do, I think, 20 videos a month on YouTube, over 20 minutes. And the biggest juggle is stepping into creator and then stepping into running operations. I know to be successful, you need someone else running operations, and ideally you'd want someone helping with the content, but really what makes it special is what you bring to it. So every time I step out, I find myself stepping back in. But what the goal is and what we've done is find people that do things better than we do. So we have an editing team. They edit way better than me, and just trying to delegate has been the biggest change.
But what was the moment? Tell us about the moment where you're like, you know what? Let's go and hire a bunch of people. Let's go and create our own little media company. There had to be a discussion, especially since you and your husband are partners. I mean, What was that moment?
It wasn't one moment. It was, my first hire was an editor. So we started there. I don't think it was just like this one moment where we're like, we're going to have 7 YouTube channels. It was like, we brought on an editor, and then it was like, we need a producer. Let's bring in a PA. And it evolved more organically versus than us just coming up with that plan.
Jesse, did you have an epiphany, or was it the same thing?
A bit of an epiphany. I was at the point where I'd been doing YouTube for like 5 years, and then I was looking at all these top creators who had like 10 million, and I was like, how are they having these giant sets and building everything? Like, I don't know how that's even possible. So then started having conversations with them and just asking them questions about their business, and they were like, oh yeah, we have like 10, 15 employees. And I was like, with one person making all the videos, and I was like, oh, that's how you guys are doing it. But it's like having zero business experience, just experience making videos. It was definitely like a ton of learning, but it was really like talking to other creators who were at the places like I wanted to be in my career, and then figuring out like, oh, you actually need like a real company. You need like a bunch of people, super talented people. So that was kind of the moment where I was like, okay, that's what I have to do.
Grace, you're kind of my co-host here. What are you seeing that works on your platform when you're seeing people, when you're seeing these networks? What are some of the lessons that you've seen that have worked?
Yeah, it's funny that you said spray and pray, because for us, Snap is actually a place which is a good place for creators just to try things. It's a really happy, safe, almost like very friendly community. So we always encourage all our creators to go on Snap. That's a perfect testing ground for you. And so it's all about frequency, try things, don't be afraid to be yourself, but that's what we've seen work.
Jesse, Rebecca, how much do you let other people, do you guys just focus on yourselves, or how much do you make other people stars on your networks?
For me personally, I've been making a lot of the videos over the last 10 years with the same group of guys, like even like my childhood best friend or my brother. So a lot of times like the channel is Jesser, like my name, but I always have like the same cast of characters or new cast of characters. So it's quite like similar over time.
Yeah, I would say that I'm the face, but in my content, it's a lot of storytelling. And so we are always bringing in new people. I also feel like at some point I will step away from being in the content and be more behind the scenes directing. And so I'm always looking to build up the next people that I feel fit the Rebecca Zamolo brand. And I think that's important because I won't be doing this forever.
But tell us, what's that feeling when you, for the first time, that you take that leap where I'm putting something out kind of under the brand that I built and under my name, that's not me at the center of it. What's that feeling like? And how is that, it's like there's no net there. How'd you decide to make that leap?
So, I mean, I think I'm less of a risk taker in that sense, where we don't just go cold turkey. So if my video is, let's say, 7 beats, I've played around with like a lead being in 20%, and then it's 30%. And, eventually, I could get more and more out of it where they don't even care if I'm in it or not. I think that's an overall goal. For someone looking to build something, you have to have other people. It's impossible.
By definition, or else, to build something of success, it's, BC Forbes, I'm going to let you in a little secret. He's not with us anymore. It was 108 years ago, but he built something that outlived him, which of course is what you're trying to do.
Well, Randall, thank you for letting me co-host. But I remember, Rebecca, you were saying like dig into the data, right? Do you have people supporting you on like getting into the insights and unpacking all the data that comes through on the platforms?
Yeah, we have a consultant that we work with, and then just myself. I think as a creator, one of the most important things that you could ever do is learn to study data. That's where you learn so much. A lot of people think, oh, no one likes my videos, but there's a million reasons why. It's like maybe your intro had bad retention, so next time you can't do that intro. We're constantly trying things and failing, and we learn based off data what we can do better. And I think that there is a place where you can learn like, oh, it dropped here, and it wasn't just because of me, it was because we tried something else. So I think it's just studying the data, but understanding too, there's a human element to it, and trying to figure out kind of like, how much can I put someone else in while with something exciting, and vice versa, if that makes sense, as far as bringing in other.
Well, you bring up a good point, which is how do you, Jesse, maybe for you, how do you build, Bucket Squad is a lot about your brand. You built that brand. How do you then get to scale where you bring other characters in? So you have to give up some of that. How do you make sure they're consistent with the brand you built when it's not you?
Yeah, I think for the way that I did it is like I have Bucket Squad. So Bucket Squad is my like apparel clothing brand. And then I have my Jesser like YouTube media. So like all the Jesser stuff, I'm always in like main character 100%. But for the Bucket Squad content, like I have someone I trust that's at my office with me 5 days a week. And we're trying to build him up as the face of the brand just because I can't make content for both of them. But it's really about a ton of trust. Like the guy I have doing it, I've known him for years. And then also just teaching him like the best way to do the content and making sure like I'm super involved and then slowly like letting my foot off the gas on that end. But I think for me, it's like having that separate entity where it's like Bucket Squad is its own brand and can build someone up there, but then I have my own.
And how do you make decisions kind of, overseeing this multi-brand universe, which channel are you going to put it on?
Well, for me,
When you have, let's say you have an idea, it's like, is that a Jesser idea or a Bucket Squad idea? How do you navigate that?
I guess for me, for Bucket Squad, I don't make like long form YouTube videos on. So it's like if anything's about the apparel brand, it's kind of like more Bucket Squad or just general basketball. And then if it's like a long form piece, it's on Jesser. But I think the real main way to do that is just having two separate teams. Like it's not one team making the Bucket Squad content and the Jesser content. So it's like that team is only focused on Bucket Squad. So whatever they think of, they'll post.
How many employees do you have?
Across both companies, it's probably around 30.
How do you, you didn't get into this business to be a manager, but now yet you are. So how'd you take that leap?
I definitely don't like being a manager at all. So I've been able to, at first, like everyone in my company was production. So I was technically like the manager for everyone. But over time, like I was able to hire a president, hire a COO. So they kind of take on all of the management. So I'm not doing one-on-ones or all of the fun HR or any of that stuff. So it's really like, just for me not doing it and giving it to the right person to do.
Why don't you guys go into some of the different, whether it's apparel or products or live events? What's maybe your biggest success you've seen in a non-traditional channel for each of you?
Yeah, I would say for Bucket Squad, it's just more of like a traditional clothing company, and I've been able to use my main like media Jesser to get like a lot of cool things for that brand. So we've been able to collaborate with the NFL on like a clothing drop, and we're doing a collaboration with the NBA, doing 14 different teams, like full hoodies, like everything. So I think just how those collabs went in the sales too, that was probably like the biggest moment outside of the YouTube.
I think we have 2 New York Times best-selling books, and we have a bow line and a game in Walmart. I think those were big successes because they were in the line of our audience.
What's the game about?
The game, it's escape detention. Yeah, we can play it later. I think the challenging thing is when creators go outside of their lane. And as I say that, I have gone out of my lane where maybe it's not exactly what my specific audience is. I have a co-viewing audience, so it's parents with their children, but my fertility line, which is in Walmart, is for mothers. So it's like, I consider it a sister to what I do on YouTube. So it's been a different strategy. I also don't want to be the face of it. So I think in that, it needs to carry the same ethics, I guess you could say, as my main channel. It should feel like the sister, not a twin. But I do think if you are doing something outside of your lane, you really need to bring in creators that do have that audience. And so I think that's important. I think if you want it to be successful, it has to be organic to you and your brand, and your audience will follow.
Great. Again, same question about what's working on Snap for people who are then using Snap to then build businesses off Snap.
Yeah. I think for us, we know that there are many different platforms, right? And for a creator, even also for a brand, how do you create more customized content per platform? And to realize that you have to actually show different sides of yourself on each of those platforms. And so for us on Snap side is like, I think we're trying to differentiate of how can there be different surfaces or different sides of creators and brands that you can show. And so for us, we've been really actually pushing chat and messaging as a place that you can build community and have more one-to-one relationships with your community. So that's like one place where we feel like is a big opportunity for creators.
As you all talk, it makes me, Steve talked about you guys entrepreneurs. You're really entrepreneurs. You have businesses with lots of employees and 401ks and healthcare and all sorts of things like that. How did you, when you started growing, how did you deal with the cost of that? Did you take the risk yourself out of pocket? Did you raise money from the outside? How did, I think a lot of people here are thinking about making that leap or trying to figure out how you justify and how you balance cost versus growth.
Yeah, for me, everything was self-funded. Like, it all comes back to like the media company, the YouTube channels, and then using that money. Even like starting the clothing brand, we didn't necessarily need like a bunch of capital. Like, it might have cost like our first drop, we put like 30K into inventory, and then it made the money back. So we've been able to just like self-fund that all the way through. But that's, for me, it's just all self-funding.
Those are the best businesses because then you get to keep 100% of the equity, right?
Yeah.
Molo is self-funded as well, but we are looking for strategic partners for investing in it, just because to keep up with the inventory and to keep it going. Which I learned, it's not just about having money, but it's about being able to like time it all correctly, which has been a fun learning experience. But I will say, and Jesser has a big team now, but we scaled back this last year, and I know a ton of people that have on YouTube. You don't need a huge team to be successful on social media. And I want to put that out there because a lot of creators think that you need this 20-person team. And like, yes, at some point you do. However, we have scaled back and we found more success. Our EBITDA is higher. And if you're ever looking to sell, you want to keep your EBITDA low. So I would say, figure out what is the minimum you need and stay as gritty as possible for as long as you can. For
the creators out there who didn't take accounting, EBITDA is the cash flow, which means how much money you're making, you're bringing in over what you're going out on a day-to-day basis. That's what we all, that's what we're all shooting for. We got about 3 minutes left, and I thought we're going to go to a little lightning round, get some quick answers from some brilliant folks. It's for all three of you. Okay. Give us one emerging platform or format that you're super bullish about.
Well, I mentioned already chat. That's big for us.
I think one surprising one for me has been Spotify. Like, posting on Spotify has done really well.
Sora or any platform like that makes video content.
We were playing with Sora last night. And it's going to change. It's going to change a lot really quick. One trend in creator networks that you think is overrated.
Spicy.
A trend, are you saying?
A trend, something you're seeing with creator-led networks that is overrated. Don't believe the hype. Overhyped. Not working
I think
as well.
Huge teams. I think that we see Hollywood failing, and that's why the creator economy is growing so much. And so I think if we go and try to be the Hollywood of creators, we are going to fail just like they are. And what we did differently is what made us special, and it's what's kept us around.
I'm going to build on Rebecca a little bit, even just when we talk about networks and use language like broadcast. Like, let's not forget, like, the whole social world is about engagement. And so it's us being careful not going back to like a broadcast model.
Yeah, I think a creator I was talking to, a big creator recently, they were talking about an agency wanting to do like a 360 deal where they even take a portion of their ad revenue. And I was like, whoa, I would never sign that. Like, I don't know why that trend is coming back.
What's one way you're using AI right now?
Production.
Yeah, ideation and script writing.
Yeah, I would say that as well. I actually will put in a thumbnail idea and like describe it, and then they'll print it out for me, and then I'll like adjust. So I use it as inspiration for our thumbnails. We don't actually use that thumbnail, but it's like sent to our thumbnail artist.
What's one brand that you like the way they work with creators?
I'm going to have to say Snapchat.
Oh, yes. Controversial. That was not spicy. That was...
I mean, Google, like, I've been obviously making videos on the platform, but actually like working with them on like a brand level this year has been really cool.
I think any brand that lets the creator have the freedom, they know their audience well enough that they know what's going to get their audience engaged and to buy and convert. I think when they give us a pitch, it's never going to work.
All right, exit question. If you were starting a creator network from zero right now, what would be your top priority?
Get feedback from the audience, get feedback from the community.
Top priority, I think just number one, just figuring out what content we're making because everything kind of follows that.
I would say build community. The one thing that AI will be able to do, but hopefully not as well, at least in a live sense, is community. I will say AI will be able to build communities, but I do think that becomes important because the one thing we have is that we are human. People can see us in real life. People can go to events. People can see us in the physical world, and that's all we have. So community is going to be very important, especially with AI and how fast it's rapidly taking over.
AI will be able to help build community, but at the center, AI won't. It's very hard for AI to be at the center of a community. So I think you guys you're building nice communities, a giant community, and two increasingly giant communities. We appreciate everything you guys do. Thanks for kicking us off. Again, amazing 2 days coming up. So let's have some fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
We're now excited to bring you our first group of Creator Upfronts.
Oh, fun. Okay. And I can't stop talking about it. I love it so much. Hi, I'm Kate, and this moment is beyond surreal for me. This time last year, I was sitting in this audience at this very event, holding on to an invitation I literally begged for. And now here I am sharing my story of how the Walmart Forbes Creator event didn't just change my business, it changed my life. It's a story of how building strong partnerships with the nation's largest retailers unlocked nearly $50 million in revenue just this year. But more than that, it's a story about courage. At 19, I bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii, leaving my small Cape Cod hometown behind. I met my soulmate, Chemo, and started building a life far outside my comfort zone. 3 years ago, social media wasn't even on my radar. I was a stay-at-home mom raising my kids in a small 1,000-square-foot home with one bathroom. When we decided to renovate, I thought I was just creating more space for family memories. But when the contractors tore down the wrong side of the house, I had to step up. That experience didn't just rebuild our home, it rebuilt me. And all it took was one viral reel about hydrangeas to spark something beautiful, Kate Greenwell Home. A space where elevated style meets accessibility and where timeless design doesn't have to come with a luxury price tag. This fusion of where tradition and island life creates spaces that invite connection, joy, and most importantly, a deep sense of belonging. In my short journey to this stage, I've learned that influence is measured by many things. Yes, there are clicks and conversions, but for me, influence is inspiring others not just to create a home they love, but a life they love. It's about showing others, including my children, that anything's possible with a big dream and a whole lot of courage. Thank you so much to Walmart and Forbes for creating this incredible event, where creators like ourselves can come to connect, inspire, and grow.
Please welcome interviewer Alexandra York, Associate Editor, Under 30 Forbes, and Kate Greenwell, founder, Kate Greenwell Home.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first Upfronts portion of this whole event. I'm really excited to have you up here. You mentioned in your sizzle reel that a year ago you were here as an audience member. Now you are here as a presenter. What has been the biggest change over the last 12 months for you?
Oh, my goodness. Well, first of all, I want to tell you a story about the process of getting here. I was talking to my girlfriend, Lori. She told me that we had both started our creator journey around the same time. She told me she had gotten an invite to this event. And I thought, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. There's no way I could ever get that invitation. So I hung up the phone, ran to my laptop, emailed Walmart Creator, got on a Zoom call, and just literally begged for an invitation to be here. Because I knew if I could just get in this room with all of you, that my life and my business would change, because I really think the lesson is that like our circle is our ceiling. I do think that there are some roadmaps to creator success, and we just need to, seek it out, bring our own authenticity to it. Am I gonna get the horn? And model it and just bet on yourself, like I did asking for the invitation here, but also be smart and surrounding yourself with the right people. Like Stefana Silber has a course on affiliates. That's something I was interested in. So I reached out to Stefana. I met Carrie and Renee, 2 creators here last year. We've literally talked every day, strategized, planned, pivoted, tested, and we just didn't give up. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the strategy a little bit.
Sure.
What do you think, especially from like when you started just a couple of years ago to today, how have you shaped your strategy, whether that's like series that you lean into or trends that you tap into or different ways that you're creating your content? What is the strategy behind your brand?
Oh, that's such a good question, because I feel like it's so fluid. Things change all the time. There's different trends that are changing. There's different incentives from different brands. There's partnerships that we're working with. So I think it's more of like trying to find your own unique way to portray the message and the product that you're trying to, and just being yourself.
So tell us a little bit about where you are active today. What platforms are you using? How are you using each of those differently? Because I'm sure there's a different use case for each one.
I mean, that was a true story. I started my Instagram page about 2.5 years ago. That's my main focus. I'm just moved into an office. I'm growing a team. I'm probably the smallest creator that you'll see on stage here today, but that doesn't mean that like we can't drive massive revenue with our different marketing strategies.
And so with those either partnerships or different ways we were talking backstage that you work with brands today, can you give me kind of a lay of the land of these different ways that creators can work with brands and the ways that you have kind of been more creative about how you are partnering with people?
I mean, I love an affiliate program, and I love when brands are willing to work with us in that sense. I wish more brands had their own affiliate platforms. What I think is most important is just like loyal, long-term trust building to really have like a successful, mutually beneficial partnership for everyone involved, because I don't think that this creator economy should be a revolving door with brands. We should be able to sit at the table and develop strategies that work for both parties.
What do those long-term partnerships look like for you?
It looks like, constant communication and giving feedback to the brands. And the best brands that there are to work with are those that receive that feedback and pivot and change, that really have the creator's best interest in mind.
Mm-hmm. And there are kind of two sides to this, right? Like you with the brands and then also you with your consumers or your followers. Mm-hmm. How do you go about building the relationship with your followers as well?
Well, I love doing that in stories and just being myself. Also, I feel like there's a way to do it that's not like your reel doesn't have to be so product focused, so brand focused, and making it more about your lifestyle, but also incorporating the products.
What's been the biggest surprise to you over the past, like 12 months, like we've been talking about, or even just 3 years ago when you started, so much has changed in the creator economy. Mm-hmm. What's been the biggest surprise for you?
The biggest surprise for me in the creator economy. Well, I mean, we haven't really seen it yet, but I'm really interested to see how AI is used, especially in user-generated content. I'm a little bit nervous about that. I hope there's always a value in place for us real-life creators, but I'm really interested to see how that's going to unfold.
Totally. My last question for you, with just 30 seconds left. What do you see as the single most important piece of advice that you would give brands today in terms of how to work with creators? Because, so many consumers, we can tell when we're being fed, information about what to buy or a brand to check out. How do you go about doing that in a way that actually works? How can brands do it with creators?
I think it's encouraging brands to give creators more of their own creativity and leeway, and just trusting that they know their audience and that they know what will land.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining me up here today.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys.
Hi, my name is India Urban Choy. I'm 29 years old and I am a travel... Wait, you're the girl from TikTok. I just saw your video. And sports influencer. A Grand Slam in tennis is just like the Super Bowl in football, based in Los Angeles, California. Do you guys have any green juice? Most people do not know this from my social media, but I am also a doctor. I have a PhD in biomedical engineering, and I actually started content creation when I was in graduate school, and I used content as my creative outlet to connect with other people online and also build my own community. I started my platforms on Instagram and TikTok in 2020, and after 2 years of creating content in Delaware, I decided to take the risk on myself and move across the country to Los Angeles. And at the time, I only had 5,000 followers on Instagram and 100,000 followers on TikTok, and a whole lot of delusion. And I'm so grateful that I did, because in just 2 months after moving, I grew over 120,000 followers in 1 week on my TikTok from my travel hack series. I went from 5,000 followers on Instagram to 120,000 followers in less than a year, and have continued to grow my community to over 600,000 followers across all platforms. I decided to start playing tennis and also incorporate skiing into my content. And although I really love playing tennis and skiing in so many gorgeous destinations, it really started to feel lonely doing it on my own and not seeing anyone else around me that looked like me. So I launched my brand Ace and I Pray to create a community where people that look like me can play tennis in the summer and ski in the winter, and groups of people that are interested in the same sport. Since I've left engineering and I've taken the risk on becoming a full-time content creator, I've worked with so many incredible brands, from being on a commercial set with Walmart to living in an incredible Beverly Hills mansion for a Verbo campaign to hanging out in the Cadillac suite at the US Open. My life has completely and totally changed, and I am so excited to see where my platform goes in the future, because I am always cooking up something new, and I cannot wait to talk to you all at the Forbes Creator Summit. Safe travels.
Joining Alexandra in conversation, please welcome India Urban Choy, travel influencer and entrepreneur.
Welcome, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone.
We're so excited to have you. You mentioned in the sizzle reel that you were in a very different field prior to launching your content career. When you were a student, just starting to create content for fun, what was the goal in your mind? Was it to become a full-time creator one day?
Absolutely not. It wasn't. So I was one of those people who really thought that I was going to be the person to use my degree. I'm like, I'm going to be that person. Like, I know I am. And after a while, I got really burnt out. So I started looking for jobs in tech and in a bunch of different industries where I could still kind of use my degree. But I ended up making more money from content creation than I ever expected. So I was kind of like, well, I'm going to see how this goes for a year in LA. And it's been 2.5 years since.
It's so exciting. You mentioned in one of your recent videos that you feel like people underestimate how long it takes to get good at something. And I'm sure that you have that experience both with your PhD experience and also as a creator. What would you say is the biggest misconception today about what it takes to be a creator in today's day and age when everyone wants to be one?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's always that saying that it takes 10 years to be an overnight success, and I feel like that's so true. A lot of people really think that they can just make, a Get Ready With Me, and they're gonna be popular and, all over on all the brand trips and doing all the things, and it doesn't actually turn out that way. I had to try out so many different types of content, different styles of content, and I would have never guessed that me laying in my bed with eye patches on would be like the content that everyone loves to watch, but it ended up working out for me. So yeah, you have to try so much and actually make an effort. Don't be afraid to be seen trying.
Mm-hmm. I love that. You mentioned too in the sizzle that your travel series is really what skyrocketed your pages. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how you first of all came up with the idea, and then what you've kind of used that to teach you about continuing to create content that people are excited to watch?
Yeah, so series is always I guess the trick to growing your following, but I actually saw someone on a video talking about how cheap it is to travel, and I was like, I used to be a broke grad student. I know all of the hacks and how to do it. So I stitched their video on TikTok, and then people were asking a bunch of questions, and I just did response videos in the caption or in the comment section, and I think I did 20 response videos within a matter of 3 days, and people were like, oh, this girl knows what she's talking about. We need to follow her. So I think that's what really helped take it off.
What is your best travel hack today?
Oh my gosh. So my favorite one is credit card rewards. I'm a big credit card hacker. So I've gotten free flights round trip to Paris. I have gotten free trips to different ski destinations. I just love using credit card rewards. That's my thing.
I love that. Speaking of skiing, you have kind of built this kind of second branch to your content platform around athletics. Can you tell me about how that kind of allows you to activate your audience? Like what does engagement look like today now that you have both the online things and also some in-person experiences?
Yeah, so it was actually my audience that recommended that I start to do in-person events. So shout out to whoever commented that. But I think it's really great because people get to get offline. Like a lot of people are really looking for that in-person experience, and you know, me being a person on the internet that's like, I'm just welcoming to everyone. Like, I don't care if you've ever tried it before, it can be your first time, like just come for the experience. And people really like that, and they've responded really, really well to it.
How has that changed then, either the content you're creating or then how you interact with people online as well? Are you continuing to like, are there other things that you've listened to them about implementing or testing out or experimenting with?
Yeah, I'm really big on feedback, especially from the comment section. So people will tell me, you know, what they liked about the trip, what they didn't like, or even any events they have. So a lot of people will recommend different destinations they want me to go to. But a lot of my content, because there isn't a lot of diversity in the sports, people are asking about like the beginner questions. So what kind of equipment do I need? You know, where should I go if I can't make your trip, and different things like that. So it's really helped steer my content and just get more people interested in it the more that I talk about it.
Mm-hmm. It also seems like your content has really evolved as you have, you know, starting out with your, you know, education experience and sharing a little bit of that to now, like you said, laying in bed with eye patches. How do you feel like your evolution has shown up in your content? Is that like intentional? Is that a strategy? Is that just what you happen to be posting that day, or what's that like from your perspective?
Yeah, I think after I stopped being an engineer, I didn't really see the need to create engineering content, so it just kind of evolved so naturally for me. And I actually tend to get bored with different topics pretty often, so that's why I just have a rotation of different topics that I will talk about. So it's kind of just the evolution of life. I mean, your audience is also going to get tired of whatever you're talking about too, and they like to see other aspects of you.
Yeah, my last question for you. For the brands in the room today, what makes you a good investment in terms of being a creator that they might want to work with?
I think hounding on the in real life events, a lot of people want to be active in life, in real life. So if brands could, you know, have more events with creators that are hosts for their communities to come in real life and interact with both them as the creator and them as the brand, I think that's the next big wave.
Totally. I mean, we're seeing it here today, you know, hundreds of people being here in person with each other.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Taylor Price.
Taylor Price.
Taylor Price.
Taylor Price.
Taylor Price, also known as Priceless Tay.
She's the TikToker making finance fun.
And at 25, I've impacted over 1 million people globally. People who got excited enough about money to follow a financial literacy platform. And in December 2019, right before the world changed, I brought it to TikTok.
Our generation has to be the most financially literate generation there has ever been. In today's TikTok video lesson, we are going to be unloading my wallet. Yeah, when I retire, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Shut up, you're 20. Now's the time to actually start thinking about your investing. Okay, this better be good.
At 20, Good Morning America.
Taylor, good morning, 20 years old, and you're dishing out financial advice. Why do folks want to listen to you?
I started a blog a few years back, which really opened up the doors to social media. And I really think what's so special and important about these days is that we can learn from our phones. We have the power to do anything that we want and really take control of our personal finance.
21 Google, 22 Fortune, 23 NASDAQ, and countless more. I've been named Bankrate's best financial activist and Go Banking Rate's most influential financial expert, being the youngest on the list.
Everybody say, I don't want to take advice from a 25-year-old, like financial advice, Taylor, right? Does somebody say, and your explanation will be, you better, because it's good advice.
You started investing in 2020. You would have doubled your money by investing in the S&P 500 to 2025.
Yeah.
The money talks, not just me.
Very good. I've partnered with brands like Invesco QQQ, Brat TV's Money Moves, KeyBank, TurboTax, and so much more. But here's my strategy. I don't just teach finance, I translate it, making it relatable, rebellious, and real.
Why would I listen to you?
Giddy,
I'm building a generation of financially free, confident young people who know their worth and their net worth. Because at Priceless Tay, we don't just survive, we thrive.
Please welcome Taylor Price, founder and CEO, Priceless Tay.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, hello, doing great. Hello, everybody.
I have to ask, is your last name really Price?
Yes, I like to tell people I was kind of born for this.
Yeah, clearly you were. I love that. So you mentioned in the sizzle reel that you started with a blog initially. Can you walk me through your journey from writing about this sort of topic to creating so many multi-mediums of content today?
Yeah, so it actually started off, as you mentioned, a blog. In 2017, I was a finance major at University of Albany, and I came to quickly recognize back then that there's a big difference between corporate finance and personal finance. And when I went to my counselors asking, hey, I feel like I'm missing some gen eds here, they were like, nope, you're in the right area. And I was like, how can this be? So come to find out, only 6 out of 50 states in the United States required a personal finance education course in high school. And I was like, how can this be? I'm a finance major now looking to manage millions, billions, maybe even trillions for somebody else. So it led me to start a blog talking about, hey, here's what I'm doing. I talked to my mom. She talked to me about this thing called the Roth IRA, and now I'm going to open one, and I think this is maybe why you should check it out too. Of course, I'm Gen Z. I'm 25 years old right now, and at the time when I was 17, they don't like reading. We like watching. So naturally, where did we end up going to? YouTube, then Instagram, and finally, in December 2019, TikTok, and that's really where everything changed.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like what each of these platforms did for you in the community that you were building, how you used them, and like you said with TikTok, that really being the one to take things off.
Yeah, TikTok, it was definitely a time where people were just getting curious about this subject. I like to say that how could you be dropped into an ocean when you don't even know how to swim? And so these conversations that weren't ever happening, we were always taught to not talk about money, politics, and religion at the dinner table. So it was a very unaware conversation that was going on that I brought onto TikTok. And as I brought it on, people were like, yeah, this is absolutely amazing. And I found out that it wasn't just a New York State problem where I grew up. It wasn't just the United States problem of having financial illiteracy. It was really globally. And the pandemic really made this financial literacy movement explode, not because it was a want, but because at that point it was really a necessity.
You have worked with a lot of different brands, some of which are, banks or fintech companies, but you've also kind of expanded to lifestyle brands, makeup brands, things all kind of across the board. How do you go about building those partnerships differently if it's someone that's like very clearly part of Priceless Tay's brand versus something that might be seen as a little bit, left field?
Yeah, I'll give a primary example of this. So I worked with Warby Parker in December a few years ago, and they had this opportunity where we talked about the FSA. You use it or you'll lose it. People had the opportunity to go and get glasses from them, and so it made strategic sense to go and work with a platform like me where young people were already thinking about, okay, how can I make the most of my money? So Warby Parker was a natural fit. McDonald's was another one where it was just going back to school and it was how to save money and you're on the way rushing to class, what can you do in a quick little split? Okay, you go to the dollar menu and go get McDonald's.
Yeah, that's super creative, the ways that you've been able to bring these other brands into the fold. And one reason that I feel like you've been able to do it is because even with a serious topic like finance, you bring some humor, you bring trendiness, you bring different aspects into the content you're creating. Can you walk me through that balance there, how you find it and what's so important about it?
I find it honestly through the comments and just I am the audience. I started being the audience, and so I talk like them. I know what FOMO means. If you ask my mom what does FOMO mean, she'll be like, I don't know what that means. And so with that understanding in mind, it just made so much sense of these are the conversations that I'm having at my own dinner tables and with my friends, and how do we split the check at a dinner table, or what are you doing to save money these days on clothing? And so it just made so much sense, and it felt really organic to me, the conversations that I was having already at home.
How can brands also achieve this balance? Because I think that that's something that a lot of brands get wrong in terms of partnering with, creators and maybe consumers feeling like it's being pushed on us. What is your advice for brands out there that want to find this same balance that you have?
Yeah, I think there's a huge problem with brands right now just trying to market to Gen Z, when as a matter of fact, there's product and there's marketing. And they want to go ahead and try and market to this audience, but yet their product might not yet be there for that particular audience. And so that's when you see the KPIs not performing so well in a campaign. So my best advice to brands would most definitely be make sure your product and marketing are both aligned, and the people that you're working with understand that, hey, we have to utilize our audience and our product to find that right fit, and so we can make this campaign really work.
Mm-hmm. My last question for you, as a 25-year-old, starting when you were in your early 20s on this, track, how do you get people to listen to you?
As I said on the news, the money talks, not just me. And I came up with that one on the fly. It really is just take a look at the statistics. It's not just me. I like to say I'm the vessel and the voice, but go ahead and look up the charts on your own. And right when I say that, and people actually then go ahead and do their research, it's like, oh yeah, maybe I should have listened to her. I could have doubled my money if 2025 by now.
Well, that's good advice. Everyone listen to her and her financial advice, I guess. But thank you so much, Taylor, for joining me today.
Thank you, Alex.
Monica J. Sutton. Monica J. Sutton has been...
And teacher Monica Sutton brings early childhood education to young kids via YouTube and Instagram.
I didn't know that my 18-year teaching career was preparing me for the biggest classroom of my life. For nearly 2 decades, I taught preschool special education in the heart of New York City. I thought I had seen it all and done it all, but one day, the world stopped.
New York City's public school district, the largest in the United States, will cancel in-person classes starting on Thursday.
In 2020, schools closed, the streets went quiet, and children everywhere were suddenly learning from home. I remember sitting on my couch and saying to myself, I know exactly what I need to do.
Monica Sutton was ahead of the curve, transforming what was a hobby into an essential service.
I turned my YouTube channel into my classroom. And on March 23rd, 2020, I uploaded my very first Circle Time video.
I'll never forget it because that video is everyone just started sharing it.
That video now has over 18 million views. I uploaded videos for 15 weeks straight, Monday through Friday, and earned the nickname, The Pandemic Teacher. I brought my real New York City teaching experience online, and thousands of families showed up and watched my lessons. Since then, my classroom lessons turned into a preschool show.
It's Circle Time with Miss Monica.
Circle Time with Miss Monica, and a global brand evolved. I've also partnered with brands that believe in purpose-driven content. I partnered with KiwiCo's Koala Crate, a collaboration that continues to grow with over 1.7 million views. My visit to Disneyland allowed me to show the family fun side of learning, reaching more than 150,000 viewers. And I've shared my creative process with Adobe, showing how their Adobe stock visuals enhance my educational storytelling with over 817,000 views. Today, over 1.3 million families are learning with me. But the real success isn't in the numbers, it's in the impact. My students call me Miss Monica, educator, entrepreneur, and creator. I didn't just create a children's show, I built a movement, and I'm just getting started.
And now, please welcome Monica J. Sutton, early childhood educator, entrepreneur, and host. Circle Time with Miss Monica.
Hello, how are we feeling?
Good, thank you. Very good. Hello, everyone.
We're super excited to have you here. You talked about your 18 years of experience working as a teacher prior to this creator career of yours. that stopped with COVID, or changed at least very significantly. And it changed for a lot of people. What did that moment mean for you, like personally, emotionally? What pushed you then through that to start creating content?
I mean, that moment for me meant connecting or staying connected to my students. It was a scary time. Everything was happening so quickly, but I knew I needed to stay connected to my students, and that was first and foremost what was on my mind. So it definitely changed everything. I was already creating content. I was already sharing resources with families, and then turning YouTube into my classroom, or my classroom going on YouTube, really, picked things up a notch.
You mentioned here in the video that it was a pretty rigorous schedule of yours for 15 weeks, Monday through Friday, a video every day. Can you walk me through those early days of like what the production process was like for you, the creative process? What did that look like in those, first couple of weeks there?
Yes, it was definitely rigorous, and it was a choice, a lot of consistency. But in the early days, I was like a point and shooter, right? You set the camera up, you sit against the wall, I put my lessons on the wall, and I teach. And as it started to grow and I was doing more, and I was still teaching full-time, by the way, I was teaching virtually, I needed help until my husband stepped in to help me. He's a filmmaker by trade, so he stepped in to help me with editing, and then it kind of turned into more of a two angles. So I didn't just have the one camera anymore. But it was rigorous. I sacrificed a lot. I sacrificed friendships, I sacrificed relationships, I sacrificed going out, even though it was COVID, we were still, I just sacrificed a lot of social time, because Monday through Friday for 15 weeks, I was showing up and creating those videos and working full time. So it was a lot. It was a lot.
How has your strategy or the content that you're creating changed since then?
It's changed. Well, the show has changed. It started out really as just teaching and being a classroom teacher, and it has really evolved into a real preschool show. And so we do seasons, we have episodes, and so it is definitely more strategic now, and it has evolved into merchandising and a lot of other things.
How do you decide what the next best step is as you are kind of expanding, pivoting, changing things a bit? Is there like a set of metrics that you go by, or like a beacon of light that can help you decide if something is a good thing to invest in your time, energy, money, all those sorts of things as you're continuing to build?
I think that's a great question. It's a combination of things. Of course, it is what do the families want? What do the children need? And then it's what is the market saying? So it's a combination of all of those things, writing down, what's working, what's not working, and then meeting with my team and deciding, okay, this is the next step that makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm. Your consumers, or your listeners, your watchers might be kids, but especially with kids this age, the parent has to turn it on. Right. How do you go about connecting with the parent demographic as well as the kids that you are speaking with?
Community. I am a stickler, or I am a true believer in building your community. And that can be hard for YouTube creators that are specifically YouTube Kid creators, because we don't get a lot of features that general YouTube creators get. Once you say kids, it's like a lot of things get cut off. Of course, privacy, different things. However, I still have my YouTube community, and I'm able to post there and talk to the parents and ask questions, do polls, and then I use other platforms as well.
Mm-hmm. How are you using those different platforms today?
Same thing. Instagram, I mostly use for sharing resources, sharing more of me, sharing more of my personal story, and then, of course, being the teacher. So I'm giving tips, parenting, really education tips for parents. And then TikTok is fun. It's just it's kind of just a lot of fun, and I'm playing with it, introducing my music, because I am a children's music artist as well now. So being able to use that platform for that. Facebook is more resource-based, and then, of course, YouTube is the show.
Parents are also the purchasers in these households as well. So how does that relationship and that community that you've built help you then build brand partnerships or business opportunities to kind of support what you're doing for the kids?
I think that strategy really boils down to my core, the three things that are really important to our strategy, our core strategy, and that is really consistency, connection, and alignment. And then, of course, children first. Everything is children first, children-led, education-led. So if brands align in those core values, then I think it could be a partnership. It's something worth discussing. It's something worth, feeling out.
Can you give me some examples of some of your favorite partnerships that you've worked on over the past 12 months?
Over the past 12 months, this was really new for me. This was more of a like philanthropic work, but I work with the Barbara Sinatra Children's Center Foundation on their summer campaign for fightchildabuse.org. And that was very personal for me. And safety, children's safety, that is something, a cause that it means a lot to me. So being able to work on that campaign, it was aligned, it made sense. And although that was something new for my community to have those types of conversations. And, you know, it could be a difficult conversation, but it worked out really well. And I'm really proud of that work.
My last question for you, you are obviously tapping into a market that is going to be like the next wave of consumers. What have you learned about how kids are like consuming content today that you feel like other creators can take into their own consideration when they are continuing to build content?
Ooh, for children, it's watch. I heard someone earlier say Gen Z likes to watch. They don't necessarily like to read. These children are so savvy. They love to watch everything. They know how to scroll. So it's really keeping them engaged. What do they need to stay engaged, to stay learning? And that's really the key. So paying attention to that.
Totally. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you guys so much. And thank you, everyone.
Every who and who Newville liked Christmas a lot. But without help from Walmart, stress-free it was not.
I'm running on sugar cookies and adrenaline.
Can someone help me find a Labubu? And also, tell me what that is!
But there was one little who, Mindy Lou she was called, who made a wish to make Christmas easier for all.
I wish there was a way for Who Newville to get everything they need for the holidays.
And just at that moment, something came from afar. A flash in the sky, a wondiferous hooting star. Mindy tracked down that star. Her wish had come true.
Walmart has it all. Who guessed it? Who knew?
So Mindy dashed and she danced to share what she discovered.
Hold on to your Who's-Its. Walmart has Christmas covered.
Such gifts, top brands for every last who.
Walmart has Tony's?
And Nespresso?
Even Apple? Who knew?
Ooh la la. Okay, Blazer.
Walmart's fashion gifts were quite the treat.
How about something trendy and chic?
Wow. All this style? Who knew?
Ooh.
Pause off, Eileen.
Let's make this celebration the best we ever threw. Find all the best gifts at Walmart.
And now, for a conversation on the continued evolution of creator commerce, please welcome interviewer Seth Matlins, Managing Director, Forbes CMO Network, and William White, CMO Walmart US.
Oh, hi, everybody. Good afternoon. All right, what do you want to know? William and I have a lot of inside jokes. We'll try and keep them to a minimum. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, right? And a big round of applause for William and Walmart Creator. Again, please, essential to this. So this is our second year. This is the second year. And I'm wondering, as you look back, right? What's interesting about these anniversary moments, even if they're give or take a few weeks, is they give you a chance to say, oh, what a difference a year makes. So I'm wondering, kind of at a macro level, what you can share about the changes you and Walmart have seen in the creator economy, thinking about both creators and brands. And then I want to ask you specifically about how I guess I'll ask you now because I started to, how you have, with creators in mind, evolved the creator program.
Yeah, absolutely. So just start with very quick kind of background recap. Walmart's been in the social commerce space for several years now. And a few years ago, we recognized that creators really are the lifeblood of social commerce. And so that led us to Walmart Creator as a platform, as a one-stop shop for creators to get connected with shoppable product and be able to monetize. And so we launched that program a year or so ago, a couple years ago. And I would say kind of the big things that we've seen evolving just since we did this last year in the creator economy is one, creators are, I mean, it's the fastest growing job of the internet-based jobs today. So as an industry and as a space, it's growing rapidly.
And that's on a revenue basis?
In terms of like in terms of growth of people in the space. And then I would say today that creators really are becoming one of the most trusted points of sale in retail. And I think there are a whole host of reasons for that, but I think one that has really kind of step changed is having digital storefronts. And so for brands to have digital storefronts for creators, I think has increased that trust and amplified that as a platform. And then the one thing, just maybe kind of just from a trend and content standpoint that we're starting to see, I mean, for so many years in marketing, we were going shorter and shorter and shorter. You know, we went from 90s to 60s to 30s to 15s to 60s.
You're talking about traditional media.
In traditional media. And so I feel like now what we're seeing is more and more engagement with longer form creative, particularly coming from creators today. And
do you think, I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you think creators have in fact taught people how to consume content differently?
I think to some degree. I think that as people are going through their feeds and stopping on the things that are of interest to them, you know, increasingly people are drawn to creator content.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then I think also we're seeing more and more, you know, think platforms like YouTube showing on big screens. And so we're seeing what was, you know, sort of small screen content on the big screen. And I think that's also leading to more engagement and longer form content. In terms of our platform, I think that all of the changes that we've been driving towards are coming from feedback from creators. And so if you have more feedback for us, we would love to hear it while we're here. I mean, we want to continue to make progress and drive change.
William will be backstage. Everybody, we will create a line.
We've got a team right over here. We got a whole host of folks to hear. But just a couple of things.
What are some of the things?
Yeah, a couple of things we've done lately. I think big push from the creator community of having a bonus program. And so that's something that we've done recently.
Actually, you know what? I think
we got a slow clap.
Oh, okay.
Clap.
No, will you take a step back and actually, for those who may be less familiar, just give the two-sentence, the elevator explanation of what it is, and then we'll get back.
Of the bonus program?
No, of the creator program.
Oh, yeah, Walmart Creator really is a one-stop portal where you can, we've created a platform for you to come in and, you know, we're really providing links and opportunities to find shoppable product, be able to post across your networks where your followers are. The payment comes in the platform. It's really a one-stop shop within.
So how do I get some of that bonus money?
Well, so driving a certain amount of GMV revenue for us on our general merchandise categories, hitting certain thresholds, that kicks in. The other thing we've launched recently is, you know, we're building from not just, historically our program has really been focused on our 1P, our first party items. So, you know, our brands are the brands that Walmart owns and sells. But as we're increasing our marketplace, our third-party offering, and really creating a longer tail assortment, we're creating opportunities to have collabs with those sellers. So you're working for Walmart Creator, you're driving revenue and getting a commission from us, but those sellers can also add on as well.
Will you explain that? I'm not.
Yeah, so if you're selling a third-party item,
so I'm a creator.
You're a creator
on
the Walmart platform. You're going to earn from us.
Yep.
And you have an opportunity to earn from the seller as well.
Nice.
And so Michael Moser, who is one of the leaders in our marketplace business, will be on stage tomorrow. You can hear more from him as well. But we're really excited about that because, you know, that just offers more product offering for creators to tap into and you know, get behind. And, you know, that's a big part of the growth of our business is coming from that part of the assortment too.
So obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, I'm aware of it, but, and I think people now are having just seen Who Knewville, but the evolution of the creator platform isn't the only evolution that's taken place at Walmart over the last 12 months. In January, you guys released, and I know you were working on this for quite some time, a brand refresh. In June, Who Knew became kind of a tentpole campaign that really spoke to the absolute breadth, everything that commercial did, that spot did, of assortment. I'm wondering what you can share with our brands here, the human ones and the inanimate ones, about how to stay contemporary, how to evolve without losing what made you you to begin with.
Yeah. So Walmart obviously has been around for 60 plus years, and there's a great history and heritage to the brand. And in many ways, that's a strength for us. That's something that we can tap into, and the equity we've built over time. But I'd also say, as we have evolved dramatically in our business over the last several years, it's almost held us back because people know us as Walmart. There's something that's sort of visceral in terms of how they think about us. And for the most part, people have thought of us as we're a store. We're a store that you drive to primarily for your non-discretionary stuff, your groceries, your household essentials, and that sort of thing. But as we have really put a lot of effort into the style, the aesthetic, the fit in our fashion, as we brought in more on-trend items in home, as we've built out this third-party assortment, this longer tail, as we've developed just much greater convenience as far as speed of delivery, and we deliver within 1 hour to 95% of the country. Like, all of those things have evolved, and yet people's perceptions haven't changed with it.
There's nothing harder. It's much easier to create a perception than change one.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so the first step was this brand identity refresh. And when we looked at that, the Walmart brand identity, so the word mark, the logo, the color palette, all those things, brands change those over, every so often. We hadn't made a change in 17 years. And so when what had been the Walmart brand identity was developed, we weren't digital. We didn't have a very good style assortment. We didn't have a lot of these capabilities. And so the quick thing we were looking at was, well, how do we signal it's a new day? How do we make the brand show up in a digital environment in a better way? How do we have a color palette that is more suited for the fashion assortment that we have? And so all of those things led to a change. But it wasn't a dramatic change because, as you said, we're an established brand, and we didn't want to throw it away, but we wanted to modernize it. We wanted to, upgrade our outfit for the time. And so that was kind of the first step. And then Who Knew came in as a campaign this summer as a follow-on, which was really centered around kind of two core elements that, we're proud of and have made great progress in that people don't recognize. One is this long assortment, 500 million items, that people don't necessarily think that we sell. It's not top of mind. And then two is just the speed of delivery and dialing people into, you can get, everything from Walmart and within an hour.
I think one of the things that surprised me when I looked at your results over the last, I think it was actually when I went to Bentonville, and you guys had just released results, is how much of your business revenue is coming from a higher net worth individual, and you're really capturing a much broader cross-section of the population than has historically been the case.
I think, so this is something we talk about in all of our earnings calls, and I think we might be 6 quarters in a row we've been gaining share. Our business is doing very well. And the majority of those share gains, as we've said in these earnings calls, is coming from households with incomes over $100,000, which historically wasn't our sweet spot. But I think that the changes that we've made has just given us more appeal to more people. Also, I think the environment that we're in, people are more excited for the value, but then certainly the convenience. With the level of convenience that we offer, that has broad appeal to everyone.
Yeah, it does. As does 500 million items.
Sure.
We'd be derelict if we didn't talk about AI, but I want to ask you a very specific question with one more to follow, which is, How are you all using AI, not operationally, but to help humans create better content and more commerce?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the very first group up here, as they touched on AI, talked about humanity and technology. And I mean, at Walmart, we always say we're people-led and tech-powered, and we're the largest employer in the U.S. I mean, the people are really important in our business, and so the ways that we're using AI across the company really are about how do we help people be more productive. And so specific within marketing, I mean, first and foremost, we are leveraging tools to help people be more productive in their day job. So if it's, used to manually produce reports, have AI run those reports, that sort of thing.
I do want to point out, I said not operationally, but you answer whatever you want to. Like, I don't even know why you need me up here.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But in the creative process, we're using AI tools to help us move through the creative process faster. So when you get from the insights, the brief writing, all the way through, something going out the door in production, like we're shortening a lot of that creative production time, whether it's helping us like move through a pre-pro really fast, or having an initial concept. It's still humans leveraging the craft for the majority of the creative work, but they're still using the tools in the process to help speed things up.
Do you find it to be a good collaborator, which is to say, is it enhancing creative effectiveness, not just process efficiency?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, I think because there's a process efficiency piece to it, it allows the creative teams a little bit more time in doing what they do best.
Yeah.
I mean, we also use it in some of the more performance-based marketing as well, where if from a targeting standpoint, from a bidding optimization, there's some dynamic creative at play that's sort of optimizing in the background. We use it there as well, and I would say that improves the creative outcome too, because it's optimizing around a person and understanding what's working and what's not.
All right, I got one last one. Crystal ball for us. And a year from now, maybe even two, you go out as far as you want. What, from the Walmart perspective, do you see as the continued evolution, the near-term future of creator-driven commerce?
Yeah, I mean, the creator economy is, I think, will continue to see strong growth. A couple things that I might point to is today there are so many creator platforms that that this group can use, dozens and dozens of creator networks and platforms out there. I mean, in general, I think most creators are using 4, they're making money off of 2. So I think we may start to see a little bit of consolidation in the space.
Do the two, in that math, and I'm gonna ask you to generalize, do the 2 that they're not making the money off of in that scenario serve the 2 that they are, which is to say, is it kind of indirect and direct? Is there interplay, do you think, or no, it's actually time to start to weed out?
I think we're going to get to a point where we're going to start weeding out.
Okay.
So I think down the line we might start to see that. I think the other thing is, Kate, when she was on stage, she referenced that she's not one of the biggest creators in the room. Well, I mean, the creators that work best for us are not necessarily the biggest ones. They're the ones that have the most loyal following. And I think that creators will continue to find how to optimize and really build a great connection with their audiences that drives a level of loyalty and drives more participation in the content. I mean, we're already seeing that, but I think we'll see that even more. I mean, it's going to be less about the breadth of followers and more about just how tightly you can connect with that community.
The influence, yeah. And so for those in our audience who'd like to get involved with the platform, how do they do it?
Yeah, so we've got a great Walmart team here. We're gonna have tomorrow afternoon, I think maybe 3:50 is a time slot. We're gonna have a breakout session. Please come join that, or grab one of the Walmart. I mean, all of our lanyards say Walmart for the Walmart folks. grab somebody along the way. Please chat them up. They'd love to help you get connected on the platform. We'd love to have you. And again, if you're on the platform and you have feedback, we want to hear that too, because we want something that works great for us and works great for you too.
I started by saying thanks. I want to end by saying thanks again, not just for your partnership, everybody's partnership with the second year of the Upfronts, but for what you guys are doing for the creator economy. A lot of people involved, few people as committed and useful and helpful as you all are. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Joining Seth on stage for a conversation, Did It Work? From Outputs to Outcomes. Please welcome Sofia Hernandez, Global Head of Business Marketing and Commercial Partnerships, TikTok. Tatiana Holyfield, Head of Social, Talent, and Brand Partnerships, Chime. And Chriselle Lim, Creator and Creative Director, Fleur.
All right. Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so there's no more fundamental question than did it work, and did it work inevitably follows will it work, right? And so what we want to talk about is from your different perspectives, your different experiences, how the fuck do you know if it worked? And and as importantly, what will help it work better? So with that, I want to ask a first question. By the way, the mics and the cards, it's a little hard for me, so forgive me. I've often said you should never get into something till you know what you want to get out of it. You have real clarity about why you got in, which is what you expect, what you hope the outcome to be. Because if you're proving and measuring for value after the fact, you kind of messed it up in the beginning. So with that, from your point of view, and let's go Sophia down, what are the essential questions that both creators and brands need to be asking of themselves and of each other from the jump to have the best chance of answering the question, did it work, with a resounding, oh, hell yeah?
So for the past 5 to 6 years, I've been really trying to bring creators and brands together at TikTok. And what I tell creators very bluntly is, you have as much stake in the game as the brand does, even though they're putting, hundreds of thousands of dollar contracts in front of you. I've watched creators walk away from 100K, 200K, because they fundamentally don't feel like their goals are aligned with the brands.
And by the way, bravo to those creators.
Yeah, really.
Walking away from capital because you don't think it's right is not the easiest thing to do.
Right. So I'll say 3 things. 1, you have to make sure that you have a relationship with the brand. A lot of times you're being connected to a brand via a media agency, and you don't ever really get to talk to the brand, and that's your right. You should ask to talk to the marketing team and really make sure that the relationship feels right. The second thing I'll say is you need to be aligned on what you're trying to achieve together. So the brand is always going to come in with their own point of view, their own needs, their own goals, but it has to work for you too, because you've spent a lot of time building your brands and your audiences, and you want to make sure that it's a mutually beneficial agreement, and you should feel very confident showing up with that. And then 3, I would say, and I heard if you said the A word here, you were going to be air horned off of the stage.
You might. Can we have it ready, please?
But you got to make sure what they're asking you to do is right for your community. And trust me, brands need creators right now. There are going to be a million opportunities for you now and in the future. So I would just really go into it knowing you have the power, so really own it.
Well, just before I go to Tatiana, not shocking that you've been very creator focused. What should the brands be? Give us a quick, on the brand side of it, what should they be thinking about?
I mean, honestly, I think they need to be listening more than just throwing briefs at creators. I see creators as creative partners. And again, that's kind of what I just briefed all the creators on. This is a partnership, so brands have to come at it that way as well. It's not just like, let me hire a celebrity to
Work for hire,
hold
yeah.
a can and recite this message.
I am available for that work. Tatiana, give us I mean, you've been doing this for a long minute. What's your take?
For those who are unfamiliar with Chime, Chime is a financial banking app. We provide an alternate solution for everyday Americans, specifically those who make $100K or less, who are really looking to progress in their finances.
All right, no more brand messages unless you're a sponsor.
At all.
But
let me tell you
did
why
just
that's
become the number
important.
one brand, financial services brand for younger Americans.
Yes, we did. We are very proud of that. And I mentioned that because we really look for creators who can co-create with us. My goal with the brief and our goal as a team is to provide the what and the why around our brand and why it makes sense for that creator's audience. And then it's up to the creator to then display the how. And so really working in partnership with that creator and giving them the creative control, knowing their audience is the one that will resonate with that everyday American.
What questions do you have of creators to figure out if they're the right creator to figure out your how, or their how against your what, and I don't remember what else.
Yeah.
Why? What and why?
I personally like to know their story. Number one, do they resonate with this brand? Because it has to really be authentic. Do they understand how traditional banks have underserved this community? And then secondly, I want to know about their audience. Is their audience aligned to the problem that we are trying to solve and the opportunity that we are solutioning for as Chime?
Chriselle, so for those who haven't been following along, we have a platform, a client, and a creator. And so what's your perspective on this as a creator?
So my take is a little interesting because I've been a creator for almost 2 decades, which really ages me at this point. But I'm also a brand founder, Fleur, and so I'm able to have a very holistic view on what a healthy relationship looks like. So on the creator side, I've been a working creator for almost 20 years, still working, and I think it's what you said in the beginning, is really the relationship is that communication piece. I think so much of being on the talent side, you just think, oh, I'm just gonna have to deliver my X, Y, and Z deliverables, and that's it. No, but if you really want to work with these guys long term, build that relationship, because every brand has a different goal. So one brand might be like, we want conversion. We want to sell our product. Another brand might be like, we want to have a better brand image. And that has nothing to do with numbers and conversion. So the question I always ask as a creator is, what's your goal? Is it to sell product? Or is it to elevate the image? Because I could do both, but you just need to let me know, because that is gonna help me dictate what type of content I'm gonna create.
Can I ask a question? Because that ties to don't get into it till you know what you want to get out of it, right? Just without kind of having to do a lot of math, what percentage of the brands that come to you, let alone the ones have that clarity before you ask them?
A lot of them don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the truth. And when you
That is
ask
true.
them that, right? When you ask them that, it makes them think too, because then at the end of the day, they can't get mad at you for not delivering what they didn't know what they wanted in the first place. So having that conversation is so important, because then you guys can both create the expectation together.
Yeah, brands do better, like for real. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, if you aren't clear, get clear and don't waste your time and anybody else's time. I say that as a one-time CMO. Okay, Chriselle, let me stick with you. And a long-time agency person, and for God's sake, just get better. Across your different businesses and your different platforms, and you just made an important point. You are both creator and brand, right? By the way, do you ever have fights with yourself?
Yeah, every day I'm like, oh, like why am I doing so much? But I love it. I kind of love doing too much.
So from a creator perspective, presumably you're evaluating and testing everything you put into the world, often in real time. You're A/B, you're figuring out how to optimize. And while the signals of what works and doesn't for content are sometimes really quite clear in the moment, it can be less so with whether a partnership worked. putting aside what you just spoke to, which is whether the brand has clarity themselves, from your perspective, how do you want to measure, how do you measure whether a partnership worked for a brand?
I think it's really how the audience, at the end of the day, consumes that content and remembers that content. Because at the end of the day, if you're thinking about the audience and the audience likes the content and they resonate with it, then the brand wins too. So I always look at the audience first before I think about the brand, because at the end of the day, brands are hiring creators ultimately to get reach to a wider audience. So I think for me, a successful partnership is when my audience really just remembers that content. So I don't know if I answered that question, but.
Well, I think you did. I think you did. I would also just add, and it goes back to something William said, I don't think brands, it's not just about reach, it is about influence, right? It is that trusted peer-to-peer, or not peer-to-peer, but it is that trusted human-to-human connection that really makes this economy what it is and creators' importance and influence what it is. Give us you gotta, like, oh my God, you don't have to name anyone. That partnership was a disaster because
they shoved a brief down my throat and they wanted every second with the script that they gave me. Didn't sell any product at all, but they wanted that script word by word.
Okay,
So
that's also, let creators create.
Yeah.
I don't, however, Tatiana, as I move to you with this, the brief is everything. And that is fully on the responsibility, at least in the beginning, before the collaboration begins, on the client, on the brand, the inanimate brand. I'm wondering, again, you've been doing this well before you got to Chime, if there's been an evolution in how you brief and then benchmark creator collaborations.
Absolutely. I've been in this social space for 15 plus years, and I
So right when I got out of college.
Yeah, me too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't know, I'm just kidding. No, but I've definitely seen the evolution. The days of vanity metrics and just working with a creator just for the name's sake is no longer to that point. But, you know, my team hears me say this all the time. People follow people before they follow brands. And so we are literally going to the creators in collaboration and partnership on their influence. Our goal is to be the most loved and trusted brand. And so I need to partner with someone in that space who has that trust already and can help their audience understand why it's important. So for me, in the briefing process, it's just about giving the creators what we call our RTBs, our reasons to believe, and allowing them to really find that sweet spot.
It.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I build on this? Do you mind?
No, wait, this is a
because I had this conversation with Chriselle in the back. So she created a fragrance brand, and I want you to jump in because I won't tell your story. But it was, the first fragrance was called Missing Person. And she basically made content that talked about how lonely she was because you had gotten out of a relationship, right? And people wanted to know what that smelled like. How fucking cool is that, right? So, and how many people did you have wait
I need you to be my publicist, my gosh. So it was a scent for that no one has smelled before. We weren't at a Sephora yet. We weren't at any retailers at the time when we were launching. And we had a 250,000 person wait list on a brand new scent, just through that story of what does loneliness smell like? What does wanting to feel loved smell like?
I feel I'd be remiss if I didn't mention for the last 4 years I've been shopping a book for real called The Scratch and Sniff Book of Feelings, and I think that we have a partnership. First deal made at the second year of the Walmart and Forbes Creator Upfronts, but we'll take it off court. You have a very privileged view into all of this, sitting where you do at TikTok, and are probably witness to more of these partnerships than just about anybody. And I'm wondering, again, from your perspective, what you can share with the audience, brands and creators alike, about on TikTok, the key metrics that signal from a platform perspective on the platform that something worked and or has the potential to work if it gets a little bit more love?
Yeah, I mean, how many of you will not even watch a full video before you go into the comments? Right? So people that are going into comments, people that are engaging with comments, sometimes you don't even get through the content. It's really about engagement. It's about search. People are coming to search on TikTok more than ever. The reason why I highlighted that example is because I think, to answer your last question, brands are coming to the table, to creators, to partners, et cetera, with these very ROI-driven, traditional metrics, reach, et cetera, and I think we're in a place where they're starting to lean more into giving creators more control to do things like Chriselle did, where she just told a story that engaged people emotionally, and that created a wait list of 200K. But you really have to be able to talk to brands about the power that exists in you as a creator to do something like that and not just settle for their traditional metrics, because that's what they know. That's what we know as marketers over and over. And I think this is a time where brands and creators are coming together to create new value systems and new ways of measuring success.
All right, a question for the audience. Show of hands amongst the creators. How many of you are seeing brands, we'll do two questions. How many of you are seeing brands kind of open up to your power as a creator and not just as a media vehicle, but as an artist, and giving you more freedom to create? So show of hands here. Okay, and how many of you are not yet seeing that? Oh, I mean, on balance, looks like it's kind of heading the right direction. Not exactly a scientific survey, but, you know, we work with what we got. Okay, I have a last question for each of you. Sophia, again, we'll start with you. We'll keep it with you. And actually, I think this is a build on what you were just saying, which is, what, if anything, is broken about how we measure impact today? And then, you know, if we, as I asked William to crystal ball it, I'll ask each of you, if we look ahead 12 months, what's a smarter shared scorecard look like between brands and creators?
I think I already answered it. I think, you know, it's all the traditional metrics, reach, engagement, search, et cetera. But I guess what I'll put out there that's new is e-commerce is blowing up. And we've seen this in...
We like to think of it as C-commerce.
As C-commerce.
Just made that up. Who's with me?
Creator commerce.
Okay, cool.
Crocs is doing Croctober, which is their thing. But they're on TikTok Shop 24/7 for the month of October selling Crocs. That, no brand can do that without creator partnership. And so again, like, you guys have so much power in the room to bring your creativity, and I think you have the power to really help CMOs believe in creativity and the power of creativity again.
And from a brand perspective, what advice do you have? What counsel?
It's tough for brands because they're reporting to CEOs that really want them to deliver hard numbers, and so I think we have to get smarter about how we quantify creativity.
Love that.
For us, I would say moving away from working with a one-off creator and really building this lasting relationship. And the unified scorecard for me looks like, what is the lifetime value of that customer look like that the creator relationship has brought to the brand? So last click attribution in this stage doesn't mean a whole lot. It's like, okay, how much awareness did you bring in, and how do you move your audience purely through the funnel?
On balance, and we're at time, so just super quickly, are you tending to use creators more at the top of the funnel or at the bottom, or are you using them across?
My preference is to use them all the way through, and that's that long-term relationship.
Okay. Chriselle?
I think as a creator, I'm speaking on the creator side now, I think it's, again, LTV. My question is, how can I work with this brand, not just this one time, but for a long time? But we both have to put in that work. It's not like just because you did one brand partnership with them and you never show them organically ever again, that's not going to do anything for anybody. So I would say, as a creator, if you are trying to build a long-lasting partnership with the brand, then you guys both have to kind of meet in between. And if you're going to use if your goal is to work with a shoe brand long term, use that shoe over another shoe when you're doing your organic content. So really think these things through.
Show the love.
Yeah, show the love, and they will notice. Like now, speaking on the brand side, we track everything, like everything. And on the Fleur side, we work for the first time ever on a paid capacity level, and we're reaching out not to the biggest creators, we're reaching out to the people that have organically used the brand in their content already. So.
Thank you all so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Seth.
you.
We will now take a brief networking break. Programming will resume promptly at 4:50, where we'll hear from more upfronters, marketing experts, and the biggest creators working today. Use the Bizzabo app to find and connect with fellow attendees based on your shared interests and passions. Please take your seats. Our program will resume shortly. Please take your seats. Our program will resume shortly. We are minutes away from resuming our program, just a few minutes away, so please take your seats. Our program resumes on the second floor. So please come back to your seats on the second floor. Our program resumes now on the second floor. Please take your seats. Welcome back. And now, let's kick off another presentation of our Creator Upfronts.
Is this on?
Yep.
Are we ready to go? Mm-hmm. All right. Every journey has a starting line, and this is mine. I'm Sal Farzine, husband, dad of 4, and this is the story of how Simply Sal Finds came to life. What started as a simple idea has turned into a community that reaches millions every day. But before all of this, my life looked very different. For 20 years, I worked in ad tech, a fast-paced corporate world that I honestly thought would be my forever. Then one day, I came home and saw my kids laughing and making videos. I asked what app they were on, and they looked at me and said, "You wouldn't get it, Dad. You're too old for social media." That was the moment it clicked for me. I was inspired to create content and stepped into a whole new world, sharing problem-solving products that make my everyday life easier on social media. I quickly realized my reviews were helping others discover useful tools, and what started as a small passion project ended up reaching people in ways I never imagined. Today, our community spans across platforms, inspiring millions daily with creativity, smart product discovery, and helping people make more informed purchasing decisions. I've teamed up with some of the biggest brands creating scroll-stopping, feature-driven content that reaches millions and drives real results. When I'm not discovering new products, I'm traveling, perfecting my coffee game, and collecting cars. Always learning, exploring, and pushing what's next. Since 2020, my family and I have built this brand together. I'm beyond grateful for every moment, for the chance to lead my own channel and inspire others along the way. This is just the beginning. See you all soon.
Please welcome interviewer Zoya Hassan, reporter, under 30 Forbes, and Sal Farzine, founder and CEO, Simply Sal Finds.
Sal, thank you so much for joining me.
Great to be here. Hey, everyone.
So, my first question for you is, how do the kids feel about Dad having 5 million followers?
Ooh, well, I have to basically say that I'm super thankful for my children. And now I feel like I'm cool to them, right? And I actually ended up hiring all of them. So they all kind of work for me. So it's an entire family affair.
I love that. You just told me that your daughter edited your sizzle reel that we just saw.
Yeah, so my oldest, she filmed and edited everything. And it took her about 4 days to edit. So she's still working on it. I'm a little bit demanding at times. I feel like 3 days would have been good, but I accepted 4. Totally fine.
I love that. So Sal, more than 2 decades in the corporate world, and now you're in the founder's seat. In the creator's seat, and the founder of your own brand, essentially. So that's a big leap of faith. When was the first time you realized that you could monetize your content and do this full time?
Yeah, it's, I think working 9 to 5 for 20 years, it's an entire eternity at times, right? It was obviously during the height of the pandemic, and there was a couple of things that came up. I think there was some downsizing that happened in my company, and then I always knew inside of me that there was some other passion project that I was really excited about that I needed to jump into. And I wasn't quite sure what it was. Until that day, I'm sure everyone saw on the sizzle reel, my kids were making these funny videos on TikTok. And I asked them about what the app was all about. They laughed at me, and they said, "You're a little bit too old for this." So I actually took that as an inspiration. I took the challenge on. And I just started reviewing products around the house. I said, you know what, I'm just gonna review products around the house and see what happens. So the funny thing was that after 2 videos, I ended up going from 0 to 50,000 followers, which is insane. And on TikTok, that was wild, right? And so from then on out, I just continued, producing good content. And it got to the point where I will say 3 years into it, still working my full-time job, I came at a crossroads and I said, you know what, I need to either go full-time or just give this up forever. And so I think I made the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And my big question for any creator that is reviewing products or finding products, promoting them, is when you partner with brands and they're either paying you or they are gifting you product, how do we, as your audience, know that you're not being biased?
That's a very fair question because I feel like there are brands and even creators out there that may only be looking at the overall opportunity. I think one of the things that separates me from other creators is the fact that I do truly vet out the products. I do have a management company that helps source brand deals, and there are times where I say no. Even if the monetary aspect is attractive, I was about to say, I don't want that horn to go off. Just being true to myself because I want to feel really good about the overall brand, the product, and also, is it a product that I myself can see myself using? I think that's where it's really important to decipher that, right, before I make that decision.
When are you saying no? Are you saying no when you just don't agree with the product?
Multiple things. I think it could be either it's not a product fit, it's not a product fit for my audience, and it's also just something I feel like it's a little bit off-brand. So I think if anyone were to go to any of my channels, a lot of it is very heavy product focus, whether it's in a home, kitchen, tech space. It's going to be very rare for me to take on any other product in other categories that I'm not truly excited about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just one more thing I want to add to that. I think it will come off to your audience, right? Because your audience knows you best. They kind of know what to expect. And I'm not saying go out there and don't experiment and pivot. But at the end of the day, it's really important to make sure that you stay true to yourself and be as humble as possible to deliver the right experience for the brand and for your audience.
We have a lot of CMOs and marketers in this room. You've built your brand off of trust, right, with your audience. How can other businesses specifically build that trust?
With creators?
With both creators, but also just the consumer.
Yeah, so I'll speak from the creator perspective. I think it's really important. I think one of the other creators also mentioned this, having or allowing the creator to have that creative freedom to be able to parlay their expertise into the actual fold of the overall content is extremely important. There have been times where I feel like the brand themselves disregard the creator's approach, and then they feel like, well, this is the right approach you should take. We feel like it's going to do well. But you know your audience best, and I think it's really important that they allow you to have that creativity. From a consumer perspective, I will say, for the brands in particular, I think it's really important to deliver products that people are genuinely very excited about, that they themselves can see these consumers using it for years on out.
And for the content creators in this room, is there one gadget or tool you might recommend?
There's so many. I mean, personally, my wife and I, we've purchased probably well over 5,000 products. And you may ask the question, where are you storing all these products? That's a conversation for another day. I will say one of the products that I truly use on a daily basis is actually a chicken shredder. Have y'all ever seen one of those? It's really effective, and it's something that we have incorporated into our meal prepping each week, and I just feel like it's just something that I can't live without.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Amber Gayton. I am an interior designer, content creator, and the founder of Blessed Little Bungalow. I started Blessed Little Bungalow with the firm belief that everyone should feel loved, safe, seen, and celebrated no matter where they live. Home is not just a place, it's a feeling, and that feeling should be joy. Growing up in the country in South Carolina and also having a career in marketing, tech, and finance has given me a really unique perspective on interior design. To me, interior design should not be a luxury reserved for the privileged few. No matter my client's budget, it's an honor for me to design a space that evokes emotion, is aesthetically pleasing, creates solutions, but also ultimately enhances their daily lives. I am a soulful maximalist, meaning I love to design spaces with an abundance of color, pattern mixing, texture, artwork, and most importantly, have comfort and culture in mind. BLB also creates products like artwork, wallpaper, bedding, and home decor accessories so people can bring my soulful maximalist style into their homes. One's home is intimate, it's personal, and to help someone design their home is like helping them write a love story to themselves. It's something that Blessed Little Bungalow does not take for granted and enjoys doing every day. To learn more about me and Blessed Little Bungalow, see my design portfolio and recent press, visit blessedlittlebungalow.com.
Joining Zoya on stage, please welcome Amber Gayton, founder, Blessed Little Bungalow.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna need you to come design my house. When that day comes around.
I love that.
Well, give us a little bit of the backstory. We just heard all about what you're building with Blessed Little Bungalow, but how did you actually, start the brand and start the business?
Sure. So I'm a marketer first. I worked in marketing and advertising in fintech and also in financial services, and went back for my MBA and started a new career in San Antonio, Texas. After I lived in Atlanta the first time, I moved to San Antonio. I bought a house, 1948, renovated bungalow, and I moved in the day I closed, and I decorated the entire house in a week. And my family and friends came to visit, and they were just like, girl, what? Like, they were expecting me to help me unbox things and so on. And my mom just kind of looked at me and said, when are you going to do this for real? And so she always saw my entrepreneurial nature and thought that that was a creative path I would take. Meanwhile, I'm just wanting to be a Fortune 500 CMO one day. And so it started as a hobby. It started as a blog in 2016, and over time, the followers grew. It turned from a hobby to a side hustle, and then after 5 years, I went full-time as an interior designer, and based on the following I had, also a content creator.
Amazing. And I want to hear a little bit about sort of how you differentiate between being a creator and then being a founder. But tell me, where does content come into play with Blessed Little Bungalow?
So I think for the interior design industry, even in the home and lifestyle content creation space, people are very fixated on the before and after. They don't really want to see the messy middle. They don't want to see the walls knocked down. They don't want to see the contractor about to make your client cry, so you got to share all the ugly. And I think, no, we're not supposed to use this word, authenticity. That's where it comes from, is like showing that and being very clear about this is what the cost of this is. This is how you can go to Home Goods and get this for a cheaper price. Taking them to markets. Like I just left High Point Market yesterday in North Carolina, showing them the trade side, but also showing the contracting side. And I think people have a stronger appreciation of it than just versus a regular content creator that is in home and lifestyle, because they see like the big picture behind it.
How often are you partnering with brands?
Pretty often. So initially, a lot of my brand partnerships were like gifting, but you can't pay your mortgage with a sofa. So a lot of partners, they wanted to come in and say, hey, we would love to see our merchandise, our furniture, so on in my client spaces. And then over time, brands like the Home Depot and different big box brands, Sherwin-Williams, like they loved my use of color. They loved how I decorated and how I put my personality into each space. So now I'd say I'm probably partnering with at least 4 or 5 brands each month, but I try to make sure that my organic content is just as loud. And then also, I'm only partnering brands that I can actually use and believe in. So I think that's the difference too.
Yeah, and how does it sort of, I'm curious to know if the terms and the negotiations behind a brand deal look different when you are a business partnering with a brand versus if Amber was partnering with a brand.
Sure, I think you have to honor the product. If I know that this wallpaper isn't going to stick more than a month in this client space, then I'm not probably going to use it. I might play with it in my own powder room in my home. So I think just making sure the integrity is there is super important, because as an interior designer, we're professionals. We have to stand by the products that we put in people's spaces. And just my own integrity and morals, I wouldn't want to recommend something that isn't going to work for my clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we only have 30 seconds left. So you have a brand that has a niche. So for the people in this room, CMOs, marketers, creators, what is the benefit of working with a creator that has a niche, and what do they get wrong sometimes about working with those creators?
I think you just have to allow the creator to be the creative. Like, they have the audience for a reason. They have the expertise. And then when you're in the interior design space, this is something that is a level above just painting a wall. So if you come to us with an idea or empower us to use our own ideas and tell a story, allow us to do that, because it's going to get more engagement, it's going to shine much brighter, and hopefully turn into a long-term partnership.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
January 27th, 2019 is a day that I'll never forget. I didn't know it at the time, but it was the day that everything changed. I'm Amanda Vernacey, and on that day, I hit publish on my very first Instagram post, and Come Stay Awhile was born. Around here, life is a mix of budget-friendly DIY projects, 2 of the cutest little helpers, and a whole lot of everyday chaos. Most days, it's just me starting a project and somehow ending up in some dilemma that I'm just scrambling to fix before my husband TJ gets home. Anyone remember when I accidentally sprayed paint all over his golf clubs? Hitting publish on that first post was one of the scariest things that I've ever done, and I know that sounds really silly. It's just Instagram. But that day I knew that I had big dreams for this community, and I wasn't gonna settle. Influencing was still new at the time, but I saw people doing it successfully, and I wanted that too. 6 months in, I hit 10,000 followers. By year 2, 100,000. Then 250,000, 500,000, and now 6 years later, over 3.6 million across my social platforms. Each milestone came from consistency, grit, and an unwavering belief in what I was building. It wasn't one single viral video, it was thousands of moments stacked on top of each other. Since then, I've been featured on the Today Show twice, named a Forbes Top 50 home creator, invited to the HGTV Dream Home, and launched a record-breaking wallpaper line with Wall Blush, their highest-selling collection within its first month. That little dream has soon become a 7-figure business that has changed our family's lives forever. I've collaborated with amazing brands like Walmart, Home Depot, Target, Wayfair, Bear, and expanded into new business ventures while growing my brand, including the launch of our Mostly Thriving podcast, where to the world it might look like we're thriving, but really we're just mostly thriving. Because is anyone really thriving? Each week, TJ and I talk about parenting, marriage, business, and mental health, all the real stuff. Come Stay Awhile is so much more than home projects. It's proof of what happens when you stop waiting for perfect and start building your own version of more. Looking back, I'm so proud, not just of what I've built, but who I've become in this process. It's wild to see how far this little dream has come, but the truth is, I'm still just that regular girl with a vision, a messy house, 2 little boys, and a whole lot of unfinished projects in progress. If my story proves anything, it's that ordinary people can build extraordinary things, one imperfect step at a time. I'm Amanda Vernacey, and this is Come Stay Awhile. Here's to dreaming bigger, building bolder, and never settling for less than what sets your soul on fire. And now, please welcome Amanda Vernacey, founder, Come Stay Awhile.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited to chat with you. Amanda, you've sort of become this trusted source of DIY home recommendations. How did we get here? What worked with your audience?
So I think that I was able to show up in just a real way. When I started my account, my husband was in veterinary school. We were living in this little rental house, and I felt so stuck in the position that we were in and waiting for well, when we get our next house, then I'll do this. And I just felt this pull on my heart of we're not promised tomorrow, so we need to love the places that we're in now, even if it's not our forever home or our forever job. And so I wanted to show people that there's a way to love the home that you're in now. And so that's how Come Stay Awhile was born, and I wanted it to be a place that I could teach other women. We all have busy lives, of how we can do quick, budget-friendly fixes on our home. It started with just
wallpaper and small, like landlord-friendly things. And then I was pregnant with our first, and we were moving into our first house, and then COVID happened, and so all of the projects and things that we had planned weren't able to be done. And so I went 8 months pregnant to Home Depot. I was like, I need to buy a table saw, I have floors to put down, and it just evolved. And I think people watching and seeing me starting something new and being vulnerable and not just showing the good parts, but the bad parts too, I think that was relatable, and people just kind of grabbed onto that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when did it really start growing? You kind of showed your gradual growth over time from going from the 10,000s to then in the millions. What do you think was the moment where you really started seeing everything change? I know you said it wasn't one viral moment, but like thousands? Tell me about that.
I think that for me, it can definitely happen where you have one video that does really well and your account might grow, but my focus was I wanted a really engaged community. I wanted people that were there to stick around, that wanted to know me and my life and cared about the things that I was sharing. And so, yes, going viral is great, like that's what everybody hopes for, but I think for me, building a community that was slow and steady over time, and obviously the bigger your account gets, the more exponential the growth is. That's just how it happens. But I think it's important to just always stay true. Like I'm still the same girl that started 6 years ago, even through all the success. Like even being on this stage today, it's like, I'm so honored that you guys want me to speak or that, people, it's just so cool to be in a room of such incredible people.
Are you intentional with keeping the community engaged? Is there a formula that you follow?
My formula is to just show up vulnerably how I feel in that moment. I'm not someone that is great at pre-recording. Everything that I do, the projects that I'm dealing with, are in real time and I'm sharing them that way. I want to be able to show up in those raw emotions, and if I'm not, some days I'm super fun and it's bubbly and we're doing things like that, but other days, like I've struggled with mental health and I like to share that on my platform and let people know that it's okay to feel those feelings. And so that's what's been the biggest success for me, is just remembering why I started, why I love what I do, and if it ever veers from something that I don't love, then it's not the path I'm supposed to be on.
How does that work with brand deals? When is too much creative direction from the brand too much?
Yeah, my most successful partnerships, and brands should know, we want it to be successful. Like, I want you to make money, I want to make money, that's fun for everybody, and I know my audience best, and so when a brand gives me full creative freedom to do what I do, that's when the message feels as authentic as the brand is wanting it to feel. I think people are very smart. They can watch you online and know if you're faking something, if you're not, if something feels scripted. They follow and they know your personality, and they can sense the second that it's off. And the second that it's off, you lose their trust, which then affects the sale. So when a brand comes to me and they want to partner with me, first and foremost, is it a product that I use? Is it a product that I love? Is it a product that resonates with, my life? I would never take something just for the money, and my audience knows that. And I think that that's important to stick to, because as your account grows, the numbers can be very tempting, where it's like, oh, that would be great. But if it doesn't authentically feel like me, it's not worth losing the trust of my audience that I could potentially lose.
And you've ventured out of just, creating your DIY content. You're also now hosting a podcast. You're also posting, personal content. I saw when you were getting ready for the Forbes event too. So tell me, why is that important to you? And how can other creators think about scaling long-term and where they go next?
I think for creators, if I could tell you anything, it's to learn how to pivot and to not be afraid of the unknown. There's a lot of things that you might venture into, whether it's content styles, podcasts, other forms of making money, YouTube, long-form creation, any of that. Give it a try. If it doesn't work out, you can pivot to the next thing. Similar to, when Instagram is the booming thing and then TikTok comes out, those creators that didn't make the switch to then also be on that platform too, like as things are coming, you have to be the first person. Like when Reels came out, you better be posting it. New Instagram feature, so you have to be always on top of it and always willing to learn and pivot if you want to be successful.
Does that apply to businesses too?
I think so. Yeah. I think just like he was saying earlier when William was talking about Walmart and just the evolution of how that works, you have to flow with the community and the consumers that you have on the other side, and if you don't, you will get left behind.
Okay. Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We hope you enjoyed this portion of our Creator Upfronts. For our next conversation, the social media runway shaping the fashion agenda, please welcome moderator Stephen Bertoni, assistant managing editor, Founders Forbes, and panelists Remy Bader, content creator, entrepreneur, and fashion inclusivity advocate, Tessa Brooks, dancer, actress, and creator, and Ryan Waymeyer, SVP Fashion, Walmart US.
Welcome, welcome. Hey, everybody. What an awesome panel. Let's start with a show of hands. This is fashion, social media. Who has purchased a piece of clothing or fashion via social media in the last week? All right. How about the last month? All right. So we know the power here. I want to first talk about, let's set the stakes here. What is the current state of fashion in social media? Like, tell me about that ecosystem. Remy, you're next to me, so you get to go first.
Okay, well, I'll start with introducing myself for anyone that doesn't know me, but I'm Remy Bader, I'm a content creator, and I started on social media during COVID, doing realistic clothing hauls on TikTok. So I think that the current state of fashion right now, in terms of like from a social media perspective, or?
Yeah, if I say like, what is like the big trend happening on fashion and social media, what would you say?
I don't think there's like one, I don't think that way. Like when I'm looking at the way that I perceive like fashion and look at these days, I think it's very different than it used to be. I think it's not like just going to like a runway show these days. We have TikTok and we have like, for me, if I see someone, no matter who they are, it's not a specific person wearing something I like, I buy it immediately. So I do think that content creators are a huge, huge part to what people are buying today and what people are wearing in fashion in general.
Yeah, they're the new runway models.
Yeah, definitely.
Tessa, how about you?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I'm Tessa, by the way. If you don't know me, I'm also a content creator who does dancing and fashion and things like that. I would say kind of the same thing. It's so easy now to buy something online. And so instead of waiting, seeing a fashion show, waiting for the piece to come out, and if you're lucky enough to buy it, you know, you see creators online, and instead of having to wait, you could just immediately go buy something. I know as a consumer as well, I do that. And so that easy access, I think, is definitely changing the pace of trends. And
Ryan, you sit on you're on the selling side, you're on the supply side. What are you guys seeing at Walmart?
I would say it's the best thing that's happened to our business. We've been going through a huge transformation at Walmart where we really have improved quality aesthetic. We're really trying to democratize fashion. And 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we would have had to take a ad out in Vogue and billboards to try to convince people. And now people that are influencers that their audience trusts are out there saying, you won't believe how amazing these items are. And immediately we see those items be our top sellers. So it's been a huge boost to the business. So we learn a lot and customers are a lot happier because they know they're gonna like the product.
Right, both Remy and Tessa said that like the state of fashion is they see something on their feed and they want to buy it. How does Walmart get on the feed, and how are you making it really easy for them to like buy from that photo?
Yeah, I mean, we work directly with so many creators and so many influencers. We recently just had an event in September where we had some of our top influencers. We had lunch with Brandon Maxwell, who's our creative director for some of our brands, and we just have a constant feedback loop to understand how can we make things easier. When I first started, everyone was like, can you just keep things in stock? So we buy a lot more of the inventory that we're marketing. We also restock the inventory. So we're just creating more of a 360 loop. And honestly, it's a process that we're still working on and still has room for improvement. But that communication with the influencers and creators themselves is really helping both their business as well as ours.
Remy, you're a fashion influencer. You've had your own collaborations and partnerships and brands. Where do you get your inspiration? Like, where do you find trends, and how do you kind of decide if something is like good, you're going to go with it, or it's not like how do you find a fad from a trend?
I always look for people that look as close to me, I guess. Like I definitely think like when I started posting online, it was because I was struggling to find clothes that fit my body type. At the time was like a size 14. And by following other people that had maybe a similar fashion sense to me, but were the same size as me, that was really helpful for me. And that's kind of, again, I really don't, like, people will say to me, like, oh, who's your fashion inspo or something like that. And I really, of course, there's people, like, I love their style, but I truly think for me, like, I grew up, like, hating shopping. Like, it was just so stressful for me growing up as, like, a curvier girl, and I just hated shopping. So, like, TikTok and these platforms, and being that it's so much easier now, and then seeing it, I think, on, like, a regular person, not just, like, a model in a campaign, is so helpful to see and compare, like, how it would look on you.
How about you, Tessa?
Yeah, I mean, I think I draw inspiration everywhere. Also, if you haven't seen Remy's videos, they're really funny. They're really good. But I kind of draw inspiration everywhere. When it comes to trends, I think just staying as true to yourself as possible. Because, like, if you look back at, like, the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, like, you could see something, you could be like, this is such that era, or you could see something from that time and you're like, wait, this is so timeless. Like, it looks like it could be done today. And so, like, for example, like Ralph Lauren, like, when you walk into that store, you know exactly what you're gonna get. It's gonna be classic, it's gonna be chic, you know, it's gonna be Western polo, it's Ralph. And so you kind of want the same thing as a creator when you're on your page, to have, like, that you-ness to it, but still incorporating trends in a way, but, you know, keeping your own personal style within it.
I love that. How would you guys describe your own style? Like, what are the vibes of your page? And obviously, Remy, you have a lot of comedy and, like, really good entertainment too.
Yeah, I feel like I try things on that are also, like, not my style at all. So, like, I that's a good question. Like, what is my style? I think it's evolved a lot since throughout the years. I probably wouldn't wear a dress like this. Actually, this is, like, one of the first times I'm wearing a very, like, conservative hat. Like, I'm trying different things here, okay? If you've seen me online, I do tend to show a lot of skin. Not today, not at Forbes.
Forbes,
So,
we're a little business casual here at Forbes, so that's good, yes.
But no, I actually should probably think about, like, what my style is. I really feel like I'm, like, still figuring that out.
And that's awesome too. I love that.
Thank you for hyping me up so much.
I would like to say mine is chic. Like, I love a collar. I love a dress. I love just looking classy, but, like, fun. Like, something that feels classy, but still, like, a little fun and out there. Love a collar.
And Ryan, obviously Walmart has to, part of the fashion has to be, you know, staples and daily stuff, but then you're also expanding big into more fashion, more lifestyle, more, higher occasion stuff. How do you, I mean, you offer millions of products. How do you guys kind of curate that massive closet that you have at Walmart?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we use a lot of data. So what's amazing is when we're looking at runways, we know that red is, people are tweeting about red 350% more than they were last year. So we know red's gonna be a big color. We're looking at social media, we're talking to the influencers, we're out on college campuses seeing what people are wearing on the street. So I mean, it's just utilizing data from so many multiple sources to determine what the biggest trends are going to be. And then as an authority, we sometimes can say, we're gonna stand behind this item and make it a trend. And most of the time, you know, if we can really tell that story and tell people that they have to buy it, then we're able to also create trends as well as just deliver the most important trends to customers.
Well, that's fascinating. Could you just tell me really quick, like, take us through a really fast scenario of, like, picking up a signal on social media and then all the way down to, like, putting it on the shelves or putting it online?
I mean, the biggest, to be honest, like, do you want a fast process or a slow process?
Fast, super fast.
Okay. A fast process would be Taylor Swift we found out Taylor Swift was releasing her latest album. The colors were orange and green. We were able to, in limited stores, pull together everything we had in orange and green for those customers, but more importantly, because we have a huge marketplace, we're able to pull together everything Taylor Swift related, everything in the colors of the new Life of a Showgirl album, and create a really amazing experience and bring that to the customer. And then we were able to surprise customers by delivering a loaf of sourdough bread if they ordered the album, and they deliver it by 9 a.m. So kind of pulling all of the resources of Walmart together to really deliver on a cultural moment that we found out 4 weeks before.
That's great with the cultural moment, because we were talking about micro trends. Like, used to be, it's this season, it's that season, it's it's Paris Fashion Week, it's Milan Fashion Week. Now with online, there's micro trends. Things are popping up based on events, based on sports, based on concerts. How do you guys, like, Remy, how do you pick trends? Like, Will you get involved in things happening online because if it's a holiday or because there's an album release, or do you kind of just go more steady?
I think that if you're someone on social media right now, it's like hard to not be a part of like the different trends. And like, I feel like every time I see a trend, I'm like, I would never wear that, or I would never do that. I end up doing it every single time. The only thing probably is like ballet flats that I haven't gotten into yet. But like,
I love the ballet flats.
I do think that it's just like, yeah, when you start, I think that's the power of social media and these like platforms and seeing people, and then you see it. It's like you see it once, and then you all of a sudden start seeing a bunch of different, again, speaking about content creators, since I am a content creator, like I do think that that is so much influence and then makes you want to go out and get it too, or wear it, something that you maybe would have never worn before.
How about you, Tessa?
I agree with that fully, yeah. I feel like especially like if like Coachella's going on, you kind of want to dress Coachella-y and like things like that. Like when trends are happening, you kind of want to involve yourself in them, but still kind of stay true to yourself in a way. And yeah.
Ryan mentioned data. Do you guys use any data analytics either on spotting trends or be on like what works for your posts in fashion versus what doesn't?
Definitely using analytics in terms of like what works and doesn't. I wouldn't say for like trends, or that's not really something we see from like our end. That's probably more from like a brand side. I think, but yeah, in terms of like, I guess, do you mean more like what does better versus doesn't?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think that whatever analytics we have and can use, that's something that from a content creator and we look at, but we can't see as much as like the brand sees on that side.
Yeah. And I also think it depends on like the content that you're making surrounding it. So like an outfit could be amazing, but if you're not making good content surrounding it, no one's gonna see that outfit. And so just promoting it as much as you can in a way.
I have a question for like when you guys choose or like are working with content creators that are fashion related, like what do you as a brand or in a retailer, like what are you looking for usually? Or I guess like now compared to.
Yeah, I mean.
I know that's not like you specifically, but like, because it's so broad. Like I feel like what you guys have a little bit of everything. So it's like, how do you decide that?
Yeah, to be honest, as the merchant, I want to say, these are my top 10 items, please go promote those.
Right.
But as a lot of people have already said today, we know that doesn't work. And we know that authenticity, I know I'm not supposed to say that, is the most important thing. But our best influencers are not the people with 100 million followers. They may have 200,000 followers, but they are loyal and they know that these customers really relate to Walmart fashion, that they really love these brands. They're filming in a Walmart fitting room or whatever it is. So I think that that connection is what we're really looking for. And we want people to really, we know that we're making amazing product and we want everyone to believe that it's amazing. And it's important to us that when their followers buy the product that they also think it's great. So it's really important to have that connection.
I can say that when I like worked with you guys a few years ago, and I think I had like a 6-month partnership with you guys. Like they were one of the only brands that I was working with at the time that like was letting me do what like my content. And a lot of like most of the brands like these days and will be like give you a script and put it in front of you, and it's like, do you want to work with me or do you want to work like? Who are you trying to work with here? Because I do believe that the more you could be yourself, and like if you get to choose the clothes from there instead of just being given wear this, and this. Like I did my realistic hauls where I would show the good and I wouldn't say the bad, but maybe what I don't love on me. And you guys were one of the only retailers that let me do that, and like really trusted me that I was like, I promise I'll sell the pieces that also don't look great on me because someone else might be like that would look great on me. So I just thought I would tell you that.
Yeah, no, that's like, we've heard that theme a lot today with like let creators create. Like they know what their audience wants, they know what their community wants. Let them do it. And you kind of just read my mind. And I was going to ask both of you, how do you like to work with brands, Tessa? Like tell me what makes you want to work with a brand versus say I'm going to pass.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely, there's certain brands that I just like die if I could work with them, like certain fashion brands. I do think it's the best when you get to have your creativity because again, you are coming to us for a certain reason that we do know our audience and we do know what will do well. And so trusting us, but I do think a brand has a vision as well. And so incorporating the brand's vision and my vision into one is kind of my favorite way to do it. Obviously full creative control is really fun. But But yeah, mostly fashion. Like I'm just obsessed with fashion. So like there's certain fashion brands that I would die to work with, like Ralph Lauren. Like I will bring them up a million times and things like that.
You put that in the universe. We're gonna hear that.
It's gonna happen, yeah.
Is there one platform that is especially influential in fashion these days?
TikTok for sure. I would say.
And tell me why, and tell me how you then create for the TikTok audience versus a different place.
Well, it's just so easy. When you see an outfit in movement or you're seeing something get put on someone's face like in real time, it's so much easier to trust it than like a campaign where like someone is perfect. Like if you could see how it flows and everything like that. And so I know that I buy the most from seeing things on TikTok. And so from both a consumer standpoint and social media, like a single get ready with me could drive more sales than a national campaign could. And so I think that's really powerful.
Will you buy directly from the platform, or you kind of then do research after? Like, 'cause I know that's all changing. The whole like TikTok shop thing is exploding. Like, it's interesting.
There's TikTok shop, there's Shop My, there's like To Know It, there's Amazon storefront. You can, if a creator doesn't have that, you can screenshot it and ask Google. Like, there's so many ways where you could find an outfit or get inspiration from an outfit on TikTok. And so, yeah, I mean, it just is so instant. It's easy. I love it.
Remy, you feeling the same vibes?
I would say TikTok, 100% TikTok for me. And I think that goes back to just, I never was someone that was like shopping on social media or looking at things. I feel like it was Instagram or like Facebook, Instagram. And like, I feel like years ago or right when I was starting, like right before 2020, like you think of Instagram and it's like perfectly edited, like gorgeous photos of people. And I do feel that like TikTok kind of changed the way social media was in 2020. I was never like, I want to become an influencer. I want to be, I always was interested in fashion, but I wouldn't have if it wasn't for TikTok, because I think that just let a lot of like people that are just people like show who they are. And for me, I was struggling to find clothing. And I think going back to just like trends, like you said, for me, I started just with trying on clothes as I was plus size at the time. And I do think that goes along with this conversation and trends, because I think that has become a trend. Like it was trendy at the time that I was talking about it, where more and more retailers were making plus sizes. And right now, as it's the era of like, I don't know, GLP-1s and people losing a lot of weight, a lot of the retailers are dropping plus sizes. And I think that it's interesting that a body type relates to trends, because I don't think it should, but I do think that's like what's happening right now.
Ryan, what are you seeing? You guys?
Yeah, no, I would say that TikTok's huge, but Instagram is still giant for us, and YouTube is really big. I would say the theme is video, and I think it's because it's authentic, it connects to the audience, it shows the entire garment, and I think it shows a personality. Like honestly, our best performing posts are generally from people who don't only just show like, this is me wearing a dress and I'm twirling around. Like there's a personality, there's a relationship, their dog, see what they're cooking. So it's a much more holistic relationship. But I definitely think video is critical. Like flat photos do not sell any longer.
100%. Like even if a website, not even on social media, if a website has, like it's shopping, they have a video of someone in the outfit, I'm more likely to buy it for sure.
Video obviously is the key. We're almost out of time. I want to do a quick lightning round question. Each of you, please give me a bold prediction or bet about what's going to happen in the fashion world in the next year or two. You can pick any length of time.
I've got one.
Ryan's got it.
He's got the data.
Yeah. ChatGPT will create some sort of creator network.
Oh wow.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Never thought about
I never thought of that.
Neither have I. I have started to
Will they
see
be human or bots?
Great question. Powered by AI.
There we go.
That's crazy.
I actually don't know, honestly. I do think everything is related. Like, that could happen. AI is going to change the game with a lot of things, and I usually stay in my own bubble of what I'm posting and what I'm doing, so I'm not too sure.
Think AI is going to change fashion?
100%.
Yeah.
How?
It's going to change everything. I think you could see photos. I don't know if I could see.
You're asking questions I didn't think about, so now I'm...
You can ask the chatbot what to think.
What would you say? Like, how, other than what you said, like, what do you think that AI
I mean,
is
we're
gonna
using
change
AI to
things?
design clothes, so it's certainly going to change it that
Oh,
way.
you
That
are?
will increase the trend cycle. But I think it will really change shopping. I think people will start their searches in ChatGPT because it will, once it gets to know you, I think it will be able to give you a similar result that a creator can. And then I think that combination of a creator plus AI, I don't know what that looks like, but I know it's going to be incredibly powerful.
But do you think you think in fashion it'll, like, in terms of what you guys are doing, so it's only going to change things in a positive way, for a brand, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if used correctly.
Yeah.
Or it's Terminator, I don't know.
Or if you like send a photo to like ChatGPT of you in a shirt, like how can I style this type beat?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to change it in terms of like creators. I feel like
Yeah, well, I don't think you could lose that well, I can't speak right now. Like personability.
The personality of it
Personality
right,
of it
people
all.
are going to still want to follow the creators that they love, and like you even said that the videos and things do better when someone knows their life and their personality and their family and their dog. And I think that AI, that's kind of difficult to recreate. So I guess we'll see what happens.
End on creators and AI, where we should, every conversation here should start and end with creators and AI. Well, Remy, Tessa, Ryan, thank you so much, and thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ranked number 2 on Forbes' top creators list and dubbed the moral philosopher by the New York Times. Dar's videos tackle hard-hitting topics from bullying to inequality through ordinary characters.
I'm just a guy who's been knocked down a lot in my life, but instead of staying down, I turned my struggles into stories. And those stories became my way of helping others. It's really me, Mom.
Following your heart, it always knows what's right. I love you guys.
Our videos remind people that even if they fail, they can get back up again and still succeed. That's what I've done with my life, and that's the message I'm trying to spread to the world.
Don't let who you are keep you from being who you want to be.
We shoot all of our content in our 125,000 square foot movie studio that's the size of 2 football fields. We have everything ranging from superstores to an entire mall across 90 plus sets.
Wow.
$1 million is a lot of money.
Being different is a strength.
You guys are really good at this life changing stuff.
Now joining Steven on stage for our final conversation today, building the studio of the future. Please welcome Dar Man, founder Dar Man Studios.
All right, we are finishing super strong today. We're finishing with a bang. Dar, welcome.
Thanks, I'm excited to be up here.
So that was a great sizzle. I caught, what was it, 143 million followers?
Yeah, across all platforms.
All platforms.
Right, yeah.
And tell me, kind of give me the current state. Give me some figures, like rapid fire, about Dar Man Studios and just like the state of this company you're building.
You don't want to talk about emotion?
Emotion, we'll talk about emotion later.
So yeah, I mean, everything started in my small studio apartment 7 years ago. For 3 years, I just kind of grinded it out, making videos. My studio was my studio apartment. My equipment was my iPhone. My actors in videos were just family members who I asked to like jump in. And now fast forward to today, and we've got about 250 employees. We've got about 125,000 square feet of space, the size of 2 football fields that we're looking to double next year. And we put out about 5 hours of premium scripted content, long form, every single week. Yeah, so it's come a long way.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great panel before with Randall and talking about, the media social channels, and you are building a studio. And how do you my first question is, how do you keep the the nimbleness and basically the low overhead of being a social media creator with the scale you're growing right now? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I think, never lose sight. The main thing should always stay the main thing. And in storytelling, it's all about the heart, the connection. I think we live in this world that's obsessed with spectacle and trying to do things like on the biggest, grandest level. But if anything, you can actually go more away from what your community wants and needs. So I would say the more you can just kind of ground yourself, and we actually have a division within our company that is doing things the same scrappy way as when we started in my apartment. So when we started, it was just 3-person crews. It was myself, a director, and then someone that ran sound. Now we're up to 7-person crews, but we still keep divisions that create content classically the way that we did it. So I would just say, like, remember not to lose sight of what's most important, and that's the story and the heart of the content.
In your studio, you said it's 2 football fields long, and we're talking sound stages, scenes. Like, how did you go from your kitchen table to building that up?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it was a slow progression. It doesn't happen all at once, obviously. But, it was during COVID. We ran out of space. My apartment, everything, all the sets and everything was just operating out of my apartment. So my restaurant was my dining room. My patient room was my bedroom. Every nook and corner of our apartment we used. And then I still remember when we saw this commercial property in Burbank, it was 40,000 square feet. I was like, maybe I can take a tiny corner of this space and use it for myself. I thought we were gonna build 6 sets initially. I looked at the price of the 6 sets and I was like, I can only afford 3 of those. And during the process of actually building the sets, we ran out of money. And so I had to take my apartment from my I had to take my furniture from my apartment and use that as set deck. So when people would walk into our sets, they'd be like, this furniture is really nice. I'm like, that's because I'm sleeping on the floor right now. But it was just a nimble process. And every single time we got a new deposit from AdSense, we just reinvested right back into the studio.
I was gonna ask, how have you funded this? Did you get investors? Did you just kind of you raised your own, made money, and you put it back into the system? How did that work?
Yeah, a lot of people come up to me, they're like, hey, I'm excited about being a YouTuber, creating videos on YouTube. And I'm like, great, I'm excited for them. And then they go, so I want to go raise a bunch of money. And I'm like, oh man, I was so excited until you said raise a bunch of money. Because YouTube is your investor. Facebook, the platforms, TikTok, Instagram, they are your investor. You do good work, you get paid, right? And that nimbleness and being able to stay really connected to your actual audience to see what they want. I had a big Hollywood producer come in and say, Dar, I've got this big series that I'm excited about, and I've already written 32 episodes. And I'm like, you're gonna produce 32 episodes without ever getting feedback on one video? What makes it exciting and what makes YouTube unique is a connection that creators have with their community. And in order to keep that connection strong, it's so important to be responding in real time to how your community's feeling. And whatever you think the highlights of your video are gonna be, they might find something totally different, and then that paves the way for your...
So each video you post, you're learning and you're improving, basically.
We have a whole data analytics team. We didn't always have that. Obviously, for the longest time, it was just myself, and YouTube gives you great insights. But we care so much, so every single time a video is released, we look at our 3-second retention, our 30-second retention, our click-through rates, how many people made it to the end of the video. We actually track comment feedback just to kind of get a vibe of what the community is saying. So the more data points you have and that you care about, the faster you'll be able to create content that your community really loves.
Tell me how that feedback loop works. Tell me how you take data from this, you have a whole team now, and then put that into the production, put that into the scripts and content. Give me a specific example.
Yeah, exactly. So, we try to stay up to date on what's happening in culture. And so right now, I'll just give you an example. There's this trend where people in Roblox are drawing things that can come to life. And so we just kind of mentioned that in one of our videos. We had a small cameo of that taking place. That became one of the most popular comments we were getting, is all about that little Roblox scene. So then I'm like, all right, well, let me see who's the top Roblox creators. We narrowed it down to the top 3. I'd go on YouTube, I'd say Roblox drawing, show me the top videos in the past month for long form. I looked at all the top creators. I messaged every single one on Instagram. One of them responded back that he wants to be in a cameo. So now we're doing a whole dedicated video, all from an idea that really just stemmed from the comments.
Oh, it's feedback from comments and data. It's wild. Yeah. For people who don't know, how do you make money?
It's 90+% through platform revenue right now. So believe it or not,
that's AdSense, basically.
That's AdSense, yeah. So that's YouTube and Facebook. I would say those are the 2 primary things. We obviously now have like scaled to a certain size where we're more diversified. We have a whole TV division in the company. We have a whole brand division within the company. We have a whole agency that we run that helps other creators syndicate content. But like, I think, so many people told me like, Dar, you want to start a career in social media? You know that's not going to last. You know that's not scalable. Like, you're too old, you're too this, you're too that. Like, every reason that every creator in this room has probably ever been told that they're not going to succeed. I've been told that, but here we are 7 years in, every single year we've grown like 30 to 50%. This year we'll probably grow about 30% top line revenue. And it's mostly built just off platform revenue. So just to give you a sense, YouTube paid out $100 billion in the past 4 years to creators. Like, Facebook pays out a similar amount. They don't publish those stats.
And you got a lot of that too.
Maybe I'd be number one on the Forbes list if that was the case, but.
And you said you do work with brands. Tell me about the brands you work with and tell me, how do you like to work with them?
Yeah, so, I would say, first off, whenever we talk to a brand, I always just like to preface that we don't focus on creating content, we focus on creating connection. And I think that difference is super important because we live at a time right now where so many creators are like stopping their content in order to kind of force like a brand sponsorship through. But we take a look at it as like, how does the brand actually become the story? How does a product become an actual character in the story? And so the three primary ways we work with brands, first, and this is like a big learning that I just figured out recently because, again, we just built our own brand division. To any creator out there, as you're thinking about your programming calendar, align it to the programming events and the cultural events that brands care about. That, like, if you'd have one key takeaway here for me, it's that. Because,
give me an example.
So we have 7 days of Christmas coming out, right? Like, when brands come with us and we're like, hey, we can do all these great things. We create this kind of content that doesn't solve an immediate problem for them. For most brands, they're just like, we have Christmas. I mean, now it's too late, right? But like, we have Valentine's Day, we have Super Bowl, we have Olympics, the more that you can actually have content solutions that caters to that brand and speaks their language. So we have a whole cultural programming calendar that we actually plan our content around. And by the way, if you have agents, managers, and then you go to them and you say, hey, I've got this epic idea for March Madness, can you get me access to a game? They'll be much more likely to succeed for you if they have a very specific ask. So I would say, like, the more you can try to solve specific problems and think the way that brands do, that would help tremendously. And then also know what your offering is. So we have 3 offerings. Number one, it's a media takeover. So brands are already buying programmatic ads on YouTube, Facebook. If we can actually have a brand, YouTube allows any creator to do this. You can have a brand come over and take over all the ads that run on your YouTube channel. And then you could say, this month, this holiday season is sponsored by Gap, Old Navy, whatever it is. So any brand can do that with any creator in this room right now, and now you're reaching that creator's specific audience. The second thing is branded content. So we have short form, we have long form. For our short form, we more gamify it. So on Advertising Week in New York, I brought up models on stage that were triplets. 2 were dressed in designer, 1 was dressed in Old Navy. And the whole idea, because I spent time with the CMO of Old Navy, he's like, Dar, we want our brand to be fashionable, but accessible. So the whole showcase I built on stage is that most people can't even tell the difference between designer and Old Navy, and sure enough, less than a third of the room got it. I even showed a TikTok that we did, that we shot that morning, and it was a big hit with the audience. So that's short form.
Was it hard finding triplets?
We had to fly them from LA.
Okay, here you go.
Everything was like done pretty quick, but yeah, it was a great gag. And as you guys know who are creators, you got to have retention hooks, you got to have twists, you got to have that wait till the end moment in the climax. And so that was kind of built for that format. All those things were built in. And then there's long form, right? So then there's just branded storylines where the brand is the actual character in the story. So there's no stopping, there's no waiting to skip. It's like we can actually take the audience demo that a brand wants to reach and have that character be the exact demo that the audience wants. Whatever talking points, whatever the inspiration, the brand ethos is, we bake that into the story. And so that becomes our long form solution. And the third offering is infrastructure. Brands, as we've seen, creators have become brands, right? So many creators have their own consumer product lines now. Brands are gonna wanna become more and more creators, right? they're gonna wanna become like us. So by being able to work with brands and showing them how to create content, how to own their own content, how to own their own audiences versus having to rent all the time, those are the three major ways we're working with brands right now.
It's crazy. And and you said you have a full team, sophisticated. Like, how did you go? You said you have 200 employees. Give me a quick breakdown. What do they all do?
I would say, about 50% of them are involved in just production, like actual making videos. I would say I'm gonna get the percentages wrong, a small percentage. The rest is like pre-production, post-production, right? So that's all of our production team, which I would say account for like 60 to 70% of our team. Then we have a whole social team that's just involved in helping to post all of our content across all of our pages, because we have 82 different pages that we own just on YouTube. If you add that to Facebook.
How many languages do you have?
We have like 15 languages, and anyone can be dubbing their content automatically. But so yeah, we have hundreds of pages that we distribute the content to. So we have a whole team just dedicated to social distribution and platform ops. Then we have our executive team, our operations team. Our new CEO used to be the CEO of MTV, just to kind of bring you guys some sort of sense as to the type of scale and talent that is coming to work with creators today. Everything is changing. The whole game is different now. And the one piece of advice I would say to, again, any creator, because it's easy to say, oh, Dar, you're at 250 employees. Like, that's not relatable anymore, right? But like, what did I do in those early stages that helped me get there? And the second piece of advice I'll say that if you guys could take away from this talk is, don't ever let creating content become at the expense of creating the company. And the reason I say that is because creators are doing everything right now. You're the writer, you're the director, you're the producer, you're the talent on camera, you're overseeing post-production, you're this, right? If you can't find a way to kind of take a step back and like empower others to start taking those responsibilities and building a company that can scale beyond you, at some point you're gonna get left behind. So never let creating content come at the sake of creating the company.
Talking about creating companies, obviously Hollywood's going through a tough time, like kind of like the creative middle class in Hollywood's getting gutted out. You're growing and building and kind of creating a modern studio. How would you plan on avoiding that kind of studio trap that is kind of taking down Hollywood?
I think that's it right there, right? Is that obviously the traditional industry is facing lots of problems. Budgets are ballooning. Viewers have more and more choices when it comes to content. So again, like, don't think that in order to get more views or more engagement, that means you need to do things the old way. Everyone is trying to figure out how you are doing what you are doing the new way. So lean into your superpower. So many creators think, oh wow, my next big thing is going into Netflix or going into Amazon, or I'm not saying these aren't exciting. I'm not saying we aren't doing those things, but I would say focus on your superpower, which is creating scrappy, fast content that caters towards your community, and lead with heart and soul, not spectacle.
I want to be up here for an hour with you, but unfortunately we're almost out of time. What is going on now? Tell me, like, what are you excited about? Like, what is the future of Darman Studios? Like, what is getting you like really pumped?
Yeah, just going back to the programming calendar, as soon as we figured out, all right, we need solutions for Christmas, we came up with 7 days of Christmas. For New Year's, we have a feature film that's coming out. For Valentine's Day, we follow 5 different love stories in this really fun series. We've got Super Bowl, we've got Winter Olympics, we've got all these awesome, more ambitious projects that we're doing that are episodic, serialized, and feature films. We also have found storytelling is what our audience loves. Up until now, it's been fictional storytelling. I've been dabbing in non-fictional storytelling where I actually interview talent, guests, people with inspiring stories. So now that's turning into a full podcast that launches early next year.
I'll clear my calendar to show up for that one.
I would love to have you as a guest. And then, yeah, and the final thing is, like, now we actually have a whole division of, writers that come from Disney, Pixar, ABC, some of the biggest media companies that are focused on programming for streaming platforms, for OTT, FAST, SVOD. So we have a lot of different types of creative projects that are coming out.
Real quick, tell me, I'm fascinated by this. Tell me about the feature film. What's the feature film?
So I don't think I can tell yet, because we're gonna make a big announcement about it. So okay. Yeah.
Well, then in that case, without naming the name, what it's about, what is the Darman way of making a feature film versus maybe a Hollywood Studios way of making a feature film?
Yeah, I mean, so Hollywood Studios' ways of making a feature film is, you take 2-3 years, you take millions and millions of dollars of budget, You have to have like hundreds of people involved in a production. For us, our green lighting process is literally me setting up, a lunch with like 2 or 3 key people from the company. We talk about ideas. Within 30 minutes, we probably have an idea that's greenlit. That goes into casting, pre-production, location, sets, props, the writing team. Our whole process from going from script to stage happens in 21 days, believe it or not. So from the time that the script is written to it's on screen happens in 21 days. We operate at a fraction, obviously, of Hollywood budget, so everything is just like much faster and much scrappier. Yeah.
Wow. And then you put on YouTube.
Yeah, our first feature film, because like, what is a natural response to that? When I say we create content 10 times as fast, 1/10 of the cheap. Yeah, but it's not great content. It's not this, it's not that, right? There's naturally that skepticism. Our first feature film has 40 million views. So like, I'm not here to argue as to whose content is better, but I think we can all agree, views speak for themselves. Engagement speaks for themselves. Audience, community, all these things speak for themselves. So I think like creators have been judged so hard on like these old metrics as to what the standard of great content is. But if you actually look at the communities we built, the views, the amount of people we're reaching, we have a very strong multi-generational, multicultural audience. I think that speaks to success more than anything. So if anything, it just goes to show you that you can produce amazing content at a fraction of the price and a fraction of the speed.
I love that. Views don't lie. Views speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Dar, this is fascinating. I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much,
all.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
For closing remarks, please welcome back Seth Matlins.
All right. I am the only thing between us and cocktails or mocktails. Before we go to the libations, I think just a quick thought, and whatever your version of a prayer is for those in Jamaica and Cuba would be appropriate, as they are definitely having a much harder day than we are. There were 2 C words that were used over and over again. I want to start with community, because this is the community, right? The community isn't just the brand's community, the creator's community. It's the community that this collaborative partnership, metaphorically and literally, is building together. And I think that is so much of our programming is intended to help each of the parties in this all of the parties in this creator economy understand each other better, so that everybody can leave a transaction and or build a relationship that is more productive, more fruitful, more beneficial. It's important to remember, it's just like any other relationship. You want to seek to be understood, and you want to understand, right? You want to, as I tell my 20-year-old daughter, like, now that you're adulting, you got to manage expectations. Don't treat these relationships or the other party as something different than your friendships, your family relationships, your other work relationships. They're just freaking relationships, and they operate based on the same rules. The other word that came up over and over again that I was really surprised to hear in 2025 was COVID. I'm really over, if we could put a moratorium on it, I'd be good. I get PTSD. But what it made me think was how do I say this without saying the stupid things, right? But for COVID, but for this change in everybody's status quo changed, a lot of creators wouldn't have created. They wouldn't have started, right? They wouldn't have had the reason, the time, the way, the place, the boredom. And I think what I would offer you as we break for cocktails and mocktails is you are, whatever part of this economy you are on, you are creating the new status quo. You get to change the status quo. Yours, ours, theirs, hers, his, thems, whatever. In any day, in any time, and that is both an opportunity and a responsibility. So go make the most of it, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here.
This concludes our program for day one of the Forbes Creator Upfronts in partnership with Walmart Creator. Head up to the 3rd floor to check out fun activations and make new connections at the welcome reception. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for an incredible day of Creator Upfronts and conversations with some of the most exciting creators and brands today. Doors open at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and our program will kick off promptly at 10 a.m.